Today's episode of the One Piece podcast is brought to you by Squarespace. Start building your website today at squarespace.com. Enter the offer code ONEPIECE at checkout to get 10% off. Squarespace. Build it beautiful. This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 376 for the week of Monday, July 13th, 2015. My name is Zach.
And my name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
On today's show, we have the animation director for Rick and Morty and Teen Titans Go. We have Brian. Hey, Brian.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
It's going good. How's it going with you, Brian? Anything up? Anything new?
Not much. Comic-Con was just last weekend, so had to deal with that for a day or two.
Do anything cool there? I know there was a...
I did visit the Teen Titans panel, and the worst part about it was the Rick and Morty panel happened at the exact same time.
Oof.
So I just resigned myself to all right, I'll go visit Titans to see what that fan base is like, and then I'll watch Rick and Morty online.
And we also have on today's show Greg Werner. How's it going, Greg?
Riggedy wreck, son!
What have you been up to, Greg? It's been a while.
It's been a long time. I've been up to pretty much the same stuff, chilling out, reading One Piece, writing a lot about it. But I'm excited for the first time in, I don't know how long it is, but to be talking with you guys about it.
Yeah, this is...
And for the first time with Brian, too, yeah. I don't think we've done this together.
Have you been up to anything interesting in the last... It's been a couple months since we've seen you, right?
Yep, it's been a couple months, but I've been busy and writing and keeping, I don't know...
OnePiece.com.
Commercial. That's right. Come visit me. I have one-piece.com, and the special section with the star. It's got my face. It's creepy. Come see it. It's fun.
Also
Twitter.
in VJump if you read Japanese.
Also in VJump if you read Japanese. I'm going to be doing a special on the supernovas from this chapter. And what else? Twitter. I always tweet in Japanese, but that's cool because it's nice.
I'm really happy, Greg, though, to have you on for such a momentous chapter here, and I'm looking forward to hearing all your insights on it.
I think it's momentous and stupendous. I'm excited and ready.
Good. Ed, what do we have on today's show?
Well, Zach, we have on this week's episode an anime recap for episode 701, Sad Memories, Law, the Boy from the White Town. And we also have a manga recap, Zach.
The manga recap is for chapter 793, Tiger and Dog. And this is a pretty big one, so I'm happy we have Greg on this week.
Yeah, I'll say.
And we're going to be going through it bit by bit, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We also have a panel/screening at Otakon that we're very proud to announce here, and we're going to be showing the One Piece Podcast Goes to Japan for an Otakon audience, complete with a Q&A and prizes, which will be kind of like a miniature version of our panels. That's going to go Sunday from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Or so. That's going to be in panel 5, so please come by. These times and the place are not 100% certain, but they're relatively certain. So,
and we're gonna have a whole segment with Jose coming up on this episode, where we'll talk about Otakon in a little more depth.
Yes. We also want to give a big thanks to our sponsor this week. That's Squarespace. As a reminder, give the offer code ONEPIECE at checkout to get 10% off. Thanks to them again. So why don't we get into the show?
Okay.
This is the manga recap for chapter 793, Tiger and Dog. I think we're pretty excited to get into this, but before we get into the chapter, Ed, something's happening on the cover page as usual. What is it this week?
Well, Zach, Chopper can't tell the difference between a Tengu, Pinocchio, and Usopp. So we're just blatantly drawing other characters into the manga at this point. That is definitely Pinocchio.
This is great for two reasons. One, because I just can't help but think, instead of Sakazuki, if Momo Usagi was the the leader of the Marines, then this would mean that the title would be Tiger and Bunny, and that'd be kind of awesome. And then also like Pinocchio and the Tengu here. That's been like, I don't know. It's not like a theory because it's so obvious to people who know these things, but I put that out there like over a decade ago. I'm like, I think he's Pinocchio and a Tengu, and fucking here it is. How great is that?
Maybe they're just still on Dressrosa, and this one guy's just like, "Help! I'm still a toy.
Jesus,
Help me!
I like how dark you
I'm
just
dying.
Sugar's alive.
no! They're all gonna laugh at me.
They're all gonna laugh at you."
The only
That's
person who could stop that too is standing right there smiling, not caring.
Why
Look at
were
Chopper's
all of
face.
our? Isn't this like I don't recall seeing this, but this is Chopper's second appearance in this run of covers. Usually, you go through all the Straw Hats first, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I think we're just doing viewer ones. I think he's departed from
This
the.
is Hazuki Ito from Fukushima who requested this.
Yeah. I think he's totally gone from that structure now, and he's just doing whatever sounds fun.
Yeah.
More power to him.
I'm glad someone asked for a Tango after what was it, Kinemon mistake Usopp for one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Actually, it makes for possibly a good transition, right? You can think about this. You want to think about it that way. That he's got the toy behind him, so we're leaving the island of toys behind, and next we're possibly going to, I don't know, a Japanese themed play. Well, I'm just saying.
Eventually, at some point. Why don't we get into the chapter? It's a meaty one, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to get through it, and then we're just going to talk about it forever. So, Ed, why don't you get us started on the first page here?
So on the first page, we have the wide shot of Dressrosa, and someone saying, an admiral from Navy HQ is bowing down, and it's being broadcast. But King Riku tells him to raise your head, Fujitora, and like you're embarrassing yourself. You want the world to see this spectacle. And wait, and didn't you plan to do this? I mean, you didn't go after Doflamingo directly. You just wanted to set this moment up. But what Fujitora wants was the truth. So he chose to let the Straw Hats do all the fighting. That was his gamble.
Which he has stated many, many times. It's been a while since we've seen him say that, you know.
But how could a man, meaning himself, who let pirates run wild on innocent folks, turn his blade on the warlord of the sea and then act as though he was, dispensing justice? It doesn't make sense. So he let the gladiators and the citizens and the pirates seize victory. Which, at this point, we go over to Kuros and the Tontadas, and he basically is acting as their commander again, as he was when he was a toy, and he commands them as the anti-Doflamingo force, the Little Riku Army, and they say, "Yes, sir, Captain." But now all their goals have been met. The unit is disbanded. People are very Leo and all the Tontadas are kind of shocked by this. They scream out for their captain, but he tells them to go see King Riku in the palace, and they will.
I thought this was a really cute scene. It just brings it back to when he was still a toy soldier and he was giving them orders and they were saluting. It's pretty funny to see a life-size human Kyros do the same thing. And also, just look at that Leo cry face.
It's also the first time we've seen Kuros happy in I don't remember when.
Yeah.
He's been very...
Human Kuros has never been happy.
No. Craig?
Well, there was that stinker chapter a couple weeks ago. I forget which one it was. It was 791 or 2. I don't remember exactly. But like,
when the birdcage disappears?
Yeah. And he goes off by himself and he smiles. And like, that was the one redeeming point of maybe the entire chapter. And I was just like, I'm glad I read that. So seeing him happy here and do the salute, it's adorable. It's great. Or adorable, I guess.
So Riku is talking to Tank, and he says that basically the Navy has to they have to save face. So take the pirates and gladiators and hide them in the palace to make it look like the citizens rose up against Doflamingo. And also send everyone who's lost their homes to the palace. Isn't that everybody at this point? Like literally everyone.
I was thinking that.
But he says, with pleasure, Your Majesty, and we go to the next page.
My house is still here.
Everyone's so pissed that one guy's house is there. Brian.
Okay, and now we cut all the way to the red line to the sacred city of Marijoa.
Oh shit!
Yep. We're back into it.
Literally what Steve said, yes.
So we cut to the sacred land of Mary Joa, and the new fleet admiral Sakazuki goes, "You telling me that whole mistaken mess about Doflamingo leaving the warlords was on orders from even higher than you all?" And
Again, something we will discuss at the end of the chapter.
yeah, and he continues this conversation by going, "Tell me, how does a rat like Doflamingo bend the world to his will?" And we get our first like real shot of former Akainu Shakazuki and the current fleet admiral. "Is this kind of nonsense keeps happening on my watch, I'll be the laughing stock of a fleet admiral."
And he's got a scar on his face.
Not only that, but his part of his ear is missing.
Yeah, so
He kind of looks like the lady from Black Lagoon with the scar on his face like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh, Leica, yeah.
I just want to laugh at Toei and be like, way to go, putting Sakazuki in.
Wake up.
Am I the only one disappointed that he doesn't have the little seagull on top of his baseball cap?
No, those
Kinda
are
bummed.
stupid.
Yeah, me too.
You have to wear the
I'm bummed,
seagull.
But I'm just.
Greg, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I don't like interrupting creativity, but I love the fact that he's kind of balanced now. I mean, we don't know how far it goes down his hand, this scar, or his arm, if it does at all. But since he has that tattoo that goes all the way down his arm, he's got like the swords on his arm and stuff. This kind of might balance him out. So he probably looks pretty badass at this point if he takes his shirt off and just like all bucky with his muscles and shit.
And now that I think about it, everything we've seen of Sakazuki since the time skip, it's always been his left side. I think even in Film Z, it was just the left side.
Right.
So
Oh,
who
yeah,
knows?
you're right.
Who knows? He might be missing a right arm, unless those are his fingers.
So now we got Sakazuki trying to give the 5 Elder Stars some orders. He's like, "I want to put an end to this at once." And one of the elders, I think the one with like kind of the locks, goes, "Don't talk back to us, Sakazuki." And they all go and say, "Your honor is a trifling matter to us," is Gorbachev. And then the one with the sword, which I suspect is the first Getetsu, Gandhi goes, "The Navy just wants an outward face for the Navy's just an outward face for the government." And then the cool elder goes, "We place this matter in Cypherpool's hands." And Sakazuki goes, "Cypherpool? Let's speak honestly here. The Celestial Dragon's puppets have gone right over your heads," which is a very interesting like social dynamic they're setting up. And they even call him out on that. It's to tell Sakazuki to shut his insolent mouth. So clearly, what's the head of the Marines and the world government are not seeing eye to eye on this issue right now.
It's interesting that they call Doflamingo the puppet of the Celestial Dragons when Doflamingo is usually thought of as the puppet master himself.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
What does it mean?
Well, we'll be talking about that again. That page
wait.
at the end, we'll probably be talking about in depth.
That may not be a reference to Doflamingo. That might be a
Yeah.
reference to Cypherpool.
I took it as they were talking about Cypherpole. Is that the Cypherpole answers to basically the Celestial Dragons? So like they have the authority to kill, right?
I don't know. I saw it as Doflamingo. I mean, I don't know what the native Japanese looks like, Greg, but it seems to me that, I mean, well, I think it would be interesting if Doflamingo kind of was acting as a puppet, but I guess that wouldn't make sense when you think about it.
I think
Yeah, I
It's
don't know.
probably right. Yeah, it's probably CP0. Okay, yeah, go.
But it's not clear, though.
No, it's not.
No.
No.
In typical Oda fashion, yeah.
Of course. Steve,
And then Gorbachev
can you
Fires
do it in a
back.
Russian accent?
fires
Here
back
now
at
is-
Sakazuki. And what of Kuzan then? He's dedicated his considerable power to assisting Blackbeard of all people.
What?
A fine message that sends about the Navy, comrade.
Holy shit.
That goes back to Burgess talking with Blackbeard on the transponder snail.
Yes,
And they
indeed.
were talking very
Yeah. Oh.
Yep.
they were talking very vaguely about that, and I remember someone was like, "Oh, are they aligning?" I'm like, "No, that's impossible. You know, Kuzan's he's a good guy. He's like a chaotic."
But they mentioned how
Chaotic
that's
neutral,
not much
yeah.
different than Shuri.
Yep.
Oh man, what a
I still
bombshell.
I still trust him.
Yeah,
I'm totally he's I think he's in there. I even wonder if he's still in there as a part of the Marines.
I've heard
I wonder
people-
about that.
I have friends suggest that he may be a spy at this point.
I mean, obviously, whatever he's doing, he's doing for the, I'm sure, right reasons. But the big question is whether it's part of the Marines or not, and that'd be an awesome twist. If these two beat the shit out of each other, and then became like bro buddy because of it, and he's in there undercover.
No, but having just reread Robin's flashback, they do not. I don't think they can be friends like that. I don't think they can work that way.
There's no way. I don't really support the whole spy theory because we went back and went through Robin's flashback, and Oda set that up very early with Sakazuki shooting at the civilian CB ship. There's no way these guys are freaking
diametrically opposed.
Yeah, they're the snake and the mongoose.
I want to talk a little bit. I want to talk a little bit more about this at the end because there's a lot I want to say about it. So we'll get back to that. Not to ruin the flow, though I have already done that. Steve.
And Akainu just barks back. No pun intended. Actually intended. Just that, he's long gone. He's not with us anymore. Whatever he does has nothing. Is not a concern of us. And we get this guy huffing and puffing, running towards them, and he yells out, "Oh, elders, Sakazuki!" He's like, I got something to report. It's Mustache McGillicuddy, of course.
Is that his name, Greg? If it's not,
that's Vice Admiral McGillicuddy.
I thought at first, I was like, wait, is this Sicily? And then I was like, no, wait, it's not Sicily because he's got the scar on the other side, and his like mustache is white and everything. So I'm gonna guess that this is the brother of Sicily, Stromboli.
It's Stromboli.
I think it's Stromboli. Yeah, I think that's.
I can't wait to meet all the other Marine guys with
Big
named after Zudi,
Guido.
My favorite is Commodore Gabagool.
Do you think he'll get a Captain Goomba? Can we please?
Do we know this guy's rank, or we just are assuming? We just are guessing.
I think everyone at that level is like a vice admiral. Isn't
To
it?
get into the room with the 5 elders, I assume you need to have a somewhat decent rank.
Chief Petty Officer Calzo.
That sounds delicious.
Doesn't necessarily need to be. This is super nerdy, but like doesn't necessarily need to be. I mean, this guy looks badass enough to be, but like you've got Brand New, who's actually technically pretty low.
He's a commander.
He's a Commodore now. He's a Commodore now.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Greg. What was his name again?
Stromboli.
Stromboli. Okay, so Stromboli is reporting that the Don Quixote, the Don Quixote family, including Doflamingo, of course, have fallen to the pirate alliance of Straw Hat Luffy and Trafalgar Law. And Dressrosa looks like this. No, he does not do the wide shot.
The
the
Rainmaker pose, yeah.
And man, it's been so long since I've got to do Sakazuki. He's like, what? Oh man, that brings me back to I don't know, years ago.
That's at least 3 or 4 years ago.
The Christmas special when we sang the Admiral song.
Oh, that killed my throat. You have no idea.
It was much easier on me.
Or his name brand cereal, Justice Flakes, available in a store near you. It is probably not a balanced breakfast.
I remember Justice Flakes.
And I remember Akainu reacting to the news that the Don Quixote family has been taken down by the Pirate Alliance.
What did he say?
What? What?
Oh man!
But what about the problem with the Pirate Alliance?
Oh, they're delivering some tacos.
And then the tall one with the long beard is like once again, and then Gandhi's like, it's that damned boy.
I really like the way that Steven wrote that there. I don't know. I just really like that.
You think that was intentional?
I don't know. Oh no, not the what. I meant the it's that damn boy. I thought that was just a good way to put the frustration pointedly at Luffy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's the annoyance under the.
It's great because it's not the first time that Luffy has messed up stuff for them. When you think about it, ever since we were first introduced to them, he defeated Crocodile, and then.
Well, I was reading Thriller Bark when Kuma comes in, and he's talking to someone, and we still, to this day, I don't think know exactly who that is, and they're like really, it was their concern about Luffy going warlord to warlord, defeating them, and messing things up, and their ultimate frustration with that. So this is something that's been stewing for a while. And
Every time we see these guys, Luffy's done something.
well, that's the only time we're going to see them.
And then again, we
Luffy,
always watch Luffy do something screwy, and then we see these guys.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he's technically defeated 5 of the 7 warlords that were active when they started. I mean, he beat up Moria, Crocodile, and Doflamingo. Now he defeated Hancock with love and Jinbei with friendship.
I was wondering how you were going to do that. Okay,
that leaves Mihawk and Kuma, who actually defeated him. Or he defeated Zoro, and Kuma defeated the entire crew.
No, both Mihawk and Kuma defeated Zoro, and Luffy defeated the other 5. And Blackbeard.
Kuma defeated everyone in the crew. So.
Yeah. Specifically. Okay. Anyway, Steve, go ahead.
I don't know if I should just have Ed do these swirly Oda boxes.
He's going to anyway.
I can. Yeah. The video and information sent to those neighboring isles spread from country to country around the New World, causing chaos where it swept like a particularly fierce wildfire.
And we get a shot of a news
See a
coup.
particularly calm wildfire. Just a wildfire.
But we get the news coup. Open's going to bring me some good news.
I like that shot of the news coup.
Yeah.
I like how it's
determined news coup.
You don't even need a big panel. Just one tiny little panel of a news coup, and you're like, oh, okay.
Shit's going down.
Yep. And I'm like, oh, we're going to see some characters. And we get some reactions from some no-name pirates in other countries. And we're like, Joker's fallen. Extra, read all about it. No more weapons off the black market.
This is all supposed to be the same country. Because check it out, those structures in the background. Yeah. When you see the island, it's the same structure as who's I'm guessing is the king's hat. So like he's obviously like the king of this island.
Are we to assume that this is someone who is being attacked by revolutionaries as a king? His country is being overthrown,
or
it might be the same situation as Alabasta, where like the people within the country are revolting.
Yeah.
Again, more and more interesting things for the Reverie, and this is kind of just like a throwaway. I really like that.
I also think, judging by those mountains or trees, that this is where the Amigo pirates came from.
Well, I don't know how this is going to pan out. I mean, obviously, we're not going to spend a lot of time here, but it's possible that, given how he set up the king here as kind of the villain, if you look at like the people who are reporting to him, they look kind of nasty and gruff in the standard Oda fashion. This might be the kingdom of big shots, because the guy who was there was like, I'm royalty from the kingdom of big shots, and we're here to get weapons, and he was like a total douchebag, right? The guy
back in 700.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who got his
during
tongue
the Coliseum.
during the Coliseum, he got his tongue cut out by Bartolomeo, or it's given. And remember when Koala she ripped off the label and she found the Dur label.
Oh the Dur label. No, I do remember that.
Yeah, I don't know if you read my column or whatever, but that's supposed to be the Do Erena. That's the name of the country in Japanese.
Right.
So like Dole, the Chiquita banana.
Dole, Dole.
So it's possible that that's that country, but you didn't need to know that.
No, that's why we have you, Greg. These are the interesting things, and I agree with you, because when we turn the page, the people who are celebrating, we see the people who are celebrating they look like less ruffians and more roughed up than anything, because one of them is missing their arm.
I just noticed that.
Yeah.
I thought he was tossing his gun
with his invisible hand. He's Phantom Limb's cousin.
Oh Jesus!
No, it's a interesting little panel. Then it's an interesting little story, I guess, told in like 4 panels. We head toward the open seas, where is that like some sort of antelope looking ship? Explaining that explaining kind of their situation. We already paid Joker, and no, you can't do this. You're reneging off this deal. And you have another guy there saying, the weapons must be in Dressrosa. Let's go there. And then another person remarking, there's an admiral that's still there. And another
that was clever on Oda's part.
Yeah, to keep the admiral there. Yeah.
Well, like, just because that's for like the older readers who are like, well, if all the weapons are there, why don't people just go and attack? And he's immediately addressing that criticism by saying, oh, well, there's an admiral there, so we wouldn't want to go there. It's from a storytelling perspective, he cleaned that loose end up in a nice single panel.
Mm-hmm.
And another person is crying out about how his devil fruit deal's fallen through.
A couple of them have.
And his smile transaction.
No!
Is the guy wearing the same headdress from one of those 3 neighboring islands on the third panel?
I assume so.
Yeah. And then someone shucks 2 knives into Luffy and Lost newspaper article saying if only those meddling kids didn't show up. And then we get an interesting little back and forth, and we've been having a back and forth as to who's actually talking here.
We know who one of them is, probably.
Well, we know one of them is Suru. That one's.
How'd you guess?
And Greg, do you want to tell us about what you think who the other person is now?
Well, why don't we talk about that a little bit later?
Okay, we'll talk about it. So
that sounds like a fun wrap up. But we've got 2 voices here that you're not supposed to know going in, just reading it, but can be garnered from it.
Well, someone says, "What's up, Suru doll?" Saying, "Look, we didn't really need to go set sail," and Suru, I believe, responding, saying, "No, that's what I." Oh no, I guess this is someone else too, saying, "I didn't realize. I thought they were talking to Suru." You got me there, Craig. And then someone agreeing with an inspector general of some sort, saying, "Look, you have been on those pirates' trail for some time, as we did see Suru in the flashback prominently." And
she says, "On your orders." That's why I've been following them.
And is then offered a cracker by this mysterious fellow. We head to
crackers.
We head to a certain town, and I do want to talk a little bit about this person at the end. Just guys, don't let me forget that. And someone,
some on the grandma made off with my pizza.
Took in the pizza buyer.
Damn it! So you beat me to it. Hey, it's about the grandma. She made off with my pizza.
Grandma mia.
I don't know what island this is, but when people ask me on Piece Together, like what island
Pizza Island.
Exactly, this is the one. I think this is the island.
It even says it on the store, pizza. So
oh, it does. Okay, then. Oh yeah, you're right.
I do like the way the Oda boxes line up on this page where it says "in a certain town, in a certain sky, on a certain sea, in a certain sea." You know,
yeah,
it's fucking cool.
It is very cool. So we see a young version of Bonnie here saying, "Yeah, Doflamingo. I guess my classmates are doing quite well." We go to a certain sky, and I want to really talk about all 3 of these later on. And we see Yarouge lying on a certain cloud with his certain weapon lying behind him.
9.
He's on, maybe.
I got it.
We've already been to Apple 9.
Yeah.
Wonder who would win in that war. And we have a bunch of his, crew running there saying, "Look, there's someone here." And he's like, "Don't be stupid. Where do you think we are? We're on some remote island in the middle of the remote sky island. No one could bother us here." But in the middle, he's cut off. And I think surprised, but with Yarouge, who the hell knows?
There's a boom.
There's a boom.
Could it be?
Come on.
We'll talk about that more. Although I think by this, you could guess.
Just throw out that entire article you wrote, Zach.
No, it fits in perfectly. It actually does.
I'm begging.
Brian read the whole article, and he could attest.
I approve.
In a certain sea, we see a Big Mom ship, and Capone.
Barely though.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the lips, and
the ice cream cone,
and the ice cream cone,
and the cake,
and the cake. That's true. You can see all those things. I forgot. I didn't see the cake before.
That's not easy.
And Capone is talking into his castle transponder snail, or the turret-looking
fortress.
I like that transponder snail. Anyway, he's saying, "Well, it seems the other supernovas."
No. Well, it seems our comrades are making quite a name for themselves. We'll take it seriously for ourselves, boys.
Perfect. I could not have done that better myself.
I love that.
When will I make an offer again, refuse?
Greg,
we're gonna take a Caesar, and then we're gonna go to Pizza Hut.
We're gonna take a Caesar. We're gonna get some.
We're
get some dressing in there.
We're gonna steal the pizza.
And you know who's gonna be there? Admiral Stromboni.
Wow, the Italians listening today will not be happy. Greg, go ahead.
No, if anything, all the Italian Americans like, yeah, that's us.
This
And shit.
this chapter's for all the Italians out there. Greg, go ahead.
We switch stages again, and well, it didn't take long. Didn't take long for them to get the jump on us, and we come to the conversation between the other alliance that made major headlines just that morning.
Oh my god, I can't believe that was this morning.
Yeah, we've got Kid, Killer, Hawkins, and Apu hanging out and finishing, I guess, their meal that they started whenever, not too long ago, and they're like,
So they're not even done eating.
they're not even eating. Either that, I don't know. It seems like it's party time, yeah, because we go through their conversation and we see that they have a goal and that they've realized that, oh, good thing that it didn't line up because they seem to be after Kaido, King of the Beasts, and lucky for us that the one we're after is the other emperor, Red Hair Shanks. Dawn, fucking Dawn, fucking Dawn's everywhere. Dawn.
No, but it's Shanks in the back. Look, and Killer's eating noodles.
Just to kind of take down that panel a little, he's eating noodles.
Oh, and we see the heavy metal fire breathing guys in the front of that bottom right panel.
Yeah, he's
Actually,
celebrating
you got-
with a Scratchman's crew.
And
You got
Hawkins
two-
guy, I think.
Hawkins cat
Oh,
guy
yeah,
is in
the
there,
little
and you've also got Wire in the background as well.
Can
He's
you
got
name
that-
all those people? I'll give the Jammer game to you this week, Craig.
All right,
Win.
we only know two of them, and that's Heat. Heat is the guy who breathes fire, and then Wire is the other guy with the funky like antenna things on his head.
We don't know Apu's guy with the braids.
Nope,
think
we
they
don't know
did.
Okay.
we don't know him. The
His name
stereotypical
is
racist
Sanjay.
Chinaman. And
Oh my god.
can I say that? I mean, that's what he's seriously
It
like.
really does look like that, though.
Yeah, and I don't know, the cat guy I'm also terribly interested in for other reasons, and we'll digest that later.
Yeah,
But let's go on to On a Certain Island. Doflamingo did what? He killed your old man, and we've got Drake now, and he's saying it's long in the past. I don't bear him any grudge, and it's like, man, that's cold. All right, well, you better help, and we've got to report this news. I wonder who they're going to report it to. Oh shit!
Oh,
Master Kaido.
He is a giant, looks like a giant bull.
Jammer pointed out to me that he looks a lot like the villain in Pluto, for those who've read that. I mean, silhouetted.
If that is Kaido,
If that is
If, yeah.
Toriko did something very, very similar to that recently.
No, it's interesting.
And I almost thought Doflamingo came back, got a new pair of sunglasses, and got razor sharp teeth.
I thought that too, if that's any consolation.
No, it's just Hody Jones wearing Doflamingo sunglasses.
Oh man, Hody's back. I've been waiting for this day.
No, now he looks like an old man, remember? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there anything more with that, Greg? You wanted to go?
Oh,
through?
there's so much on that, but let's keep going. I mean, oh man, Master Kaido, that idiot, Joker, he went and screwed it up. And it's great that they can talk about him like that as well. That's huge in Japanese. Just be like, this jerk, and we can't get that smile no more. That's a great line from Steven. We can't get that smile back no more.
Oh, they're having a bum day.
Ed, you could say that Kaido has lost his smile.
Oh yeah,
I don't get
you
it.
could say that.
Okay.
But on the next page, back in Dressrosa, there's an angry conversation going on. He says, "Don't play dumb with me, Isho. You know full well what it means for a naval admiral to admit fault." And he's wondering why you wouldn't report back to headquarters first.
Wait,
And
that fucking Dindin Mushi, the transponder.
angry eyebrows.
It's one of my favorite transponders now.
I love the eyes.
Yeah.
Just these realistic, angry Japanese eyes.
But he replies, "If not had, I suppose news would come out and tell a different story again." So, slight flashback to earlier that day, apparently, and it's a Smoker talking to Isho. He says, "I believe the 7 warlords should be disbanded. I was there 2 years ago in person. Crocodile's ruse was exposed, but then in the Navy couldn't do anything about it. The Straw Hats did everything. Alabasta would be just like Dressrosa is now, a pirate country. But the Navy lied, and the government reported that his downfall was his work. And he laments that if only Smoker had a higher rank back then, he could have done something different. But he is recuperating from the incident at Punk Hazard still on his ship, and he says, "I'll be damned, Fujitora really went and did it." And Tashigi is sort of, reminiscing about what happened at Alabasta 2 years ago, and she says that he righted the wrong for us. And Smoker is sort of feeling very weak right now because even if he was an admiral like Fujitora is, he doesn't think that he'd be able to do the same thing. But he's astonished by it, at which Tashigi hears as famished and offers some muffins and coffee.
This panel is absolutely adorable.
She's my favorite.
Tashigi looks so freaking cute. It's a pajama party.
The fun kind.
I'll go get the muffins. Like they're bringing out the Easy Bake Oven, and they're gonna play the mall shopping board game and get out the Ouija board.
That game's great.
Get some girl talk or something.
You got the dunce.
I want to see Smoker participating in that actively. That's what I want to see.
Well, the next page is even more evident.
Yeah, Greg. What can they use to make this more cute?
Children, hey miss, we're famished. Oh, we have muffins in that case. Shall I make some coffee? Tashigi, you fucking idiot. This is great.
She says the same exact line she just said, which is hilarious.
Don't give the kids coffee.
I'll
The
have a
kids,
muffin.
they're like, don't give us coffee.
Oh my god, yeah, she says line for line the same exact thing. I didn't even realize that.
But
And they ask for
the kids, man.
yeah. Well, they asked for Mr. Big Pants, and she's like, and when I read that, I was just like, what the fuck? And he's like, no, it's Vegapunk, and we won't be arriving at Dr. Vegapunk's lag for a few more days yet. Whoa, shit. Timeline.
Oh.
In there.
All right, and we've got what? Do we have a name for these
G5.
guys? Didn't we have like a nickname for them?
No, you're thinking of the nickname for Caesar's guys, which are
Caesar's guys.
which are the
Toad
Toad Goats,
And the Doflamingos guys are the schmucks.
and the Schmucks. But the
Schmucks.
G5 we didn't have a name for. We only have names for henchmen, not necessarily Marines.
Minions, as they like to be called.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Indians, yeah. And they're just being G5, lovable goons. And right, fade out of there.
Be a kid.
Hired goons.
Hired goons. Simpsons. I don't know what season. We've now go back to Dressrosa in the midst of a very heated conversation, and someone saying, "We've covered up plenty of things in the past. I won't be made a hero on a big fat lie. Weren't it the choice of our superiors in the world government to hire pirates to keep the balance of the world? This is an issue of the naval headquarters' trust and dignity."
Isho, you know who you're talking to?
And we see, it's again Isho and Sakazuki's war of words at this point, and "You're out of line." Steven was very proud of that line. He let me know. You
Damn it,
caused
McGonagall.
our justice to lose all face.
But Garnacle,
Your
you
face is
destroyed
all you
all.
care about. Keep it tucked away where it won't get hurt. If admitting fault means your trust is gone, you don't have none in the first place. And then yeek, and everyone just fucking books it out. Just hearing this conversation. And you're going to make this right, Fujitora. You won't set foot in any naval base in the world until you've brought Straw Hat and Law with you. And that's just what I wanted to hear. Dome.
Kinda got-
Well, McGarnatora.
I kind of got chills at the end of that chapter, even reading it through it again. So there's a lot of things I want to go through.
He just said, it's just what I wanted to Keikaku.
Hell on. Keikaku means plan.
Yes. All right. I guess first, great chapter, right? Goes without saying, right? We have so much to go through, and I hope we have enough time to do this with you, Greg. I guess we should probably start from the beginning and go back through like the topics that we want to cover.
First is Fujitora's bet and how he engineered this situation to end like this. He bet on the Straw Hats. He had to expose the truth, so he couldn't fight directly, which is it's an interesting strategy for him.
Yeah. You know what it is? It's kind of like a child pouting when they're not getting their way. It's like, I really want to take down the pirates, but you're a warlord and that won't let me do it. So I'm just not going to do anything, man.
Sounds like freeze tag.
Yeah.
Doflamingo's like, home base. It's
Yeah,
like, the
I'm
whole
safe.
island's your home base.
Yeah, I'm safe here. But yeah, the fact that he had the strategy behind it, just awesome.
Greg?
I think I'd feel a lot better about it if not for that meteor shit that went down after the birdcage was raised. Because that was like the dumbest thing that anybody did in the entire arc. I like it was just like, dude. But I guess that comes along with like the justice is blind, so he's got to have a little bit of faults as well, and along with what goes well for him. And this obviously went well. His bet did pay off, so good for him. And also scary face at the end of the chapter there. Whoa.
Yeah. I like how we see that Akainu is kind of middle management actually in the world government.
And I mean, even before we get to that, just since we're talking about Fujitora, I want to just stick on Fujitora for a second. I do like how we Smoker has his allies in the government, and it used to be Kuzan, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a minute. And it seems that Fujitora is kind of his go-to man right now. And it's interesting.
Gee, I wonder who he's going to bring along when he goes after Luffy and Law.
Well, Smoker is recovering right now after Doflamingo messed him up.
And not only that, they're heading to Vegapunk.
And they're heading to Vegapunk.
On Vegapunk Island or whatever.
Vegapants Island.
Vegapants Island.
Mr. Big Pants. I'm pretty sure Vegapunk is probably either at Marie Joie or at Naval Headquarters.
I'm not so sure about that.
I wouldn't be so sure about that either. I'm sure he has his own kind of place that they let him do his thing.
Yeah.
Because I think Punk Hazard used to be that.
Because remember, Centaurmaru was like captain of the Marine Research Division. Oh, yeah. So then maybe just like a Marine Research Island, like you said, Punk Hazard.
Oh, yeah, well, we're going to get to see Centaurmaru again.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
I wonder if he's as foul-mouthed as I remember.
No, we saw him in Shabati already, back at the beginning of the...
Right.
Zach, we all know it's pronounced Sabaody now.
Look.
There's no easy way to pronounce it.
No, I've given up pronouncing it years ago. Okay, now we could probably move on to the Sakazuki thing, Ed.
But yeah, Sakazuki being annoyed that there are people even more powerful than him who are interfering with his plans and making him basically making him look like a fool and a pussy, kind of.
And also,
I'd just like to say that this entire chapter, well, at least anything that transpires between those two, Fujitora and Akainu, is incredibly difficult to read, or at least was for me, because they all speak like old, angry men. And it all just goes like...
Oh, I can't wait to hear that.
Oh my God.
Sakazuki and the Five Elders star in 6 Angry Men.
So...
Well, do the elders speak that way as well, or is it not quite as gruff?
The elders, they speak gruff as well, but like you've got two things going on for Sakazuki. He has like a Hiroshima accent, and on top of that, he's an old angry man. So you've got an accent and an old angry man, and then you got Fujitora, who's just like Wild West man, who's just like darn kids and work. And the two of them together in that last page when they're just going back and forth, like I was just like, I don't understand what's happening here. And I was asked my wife, I was like, Haruka, you got to help me out here. And she's like, I have no idea even the context of this conversation, but it's badass. And I was like, yeah, it is.
There was a particular Japanese wrestling match from the big Tokyo Dome show on January 4th of this year, where there was a match where the guys were like yelling extremely basically gruff, like basically cursing at each other a lot during the fight. Or during the match, and I imagine it sounded a lot like that.
Can we YouTube that?
Yeah, it was the Togi Makabe versus Tomohiro Ishii from Wrestle Kingdom 9. They're yelling at each other a lot through that.
Was that the strong style? Man?
Yeah, that's the one with the knee drop to the shoulder for the finish.
Okay. Back to One Piece for a second, though. What do you think then? I think that the big picture question is who is higher than the five elders? Is it something obvious like just the celestial dragons hold more power? Is there something, and does this connect at all into Doflamingo and Gecko Moria back
And
at the
why
end of the war?
after 2 years the elders still can't leave that room?
They left once. They left once.
Yeah, they talked to
and the
Span
one,
across a canal once.
The water's
I've got to use the bathroom. It's like, here, piss in this wastebasket.
Hey, we have to go to the bathroom together. That's what we promised.
We're all one
spots-
character.
Those
None of
spots
us
on the
can-
floor just open up. We
No sci-fi budget.
Well, Greg, what do you think of the structure of the world as it was revealed here?
I have no idea. I'm trying to simplify too much. I just personally I would think that it would be the fact that the Tenryubito or the Celestial Dragons have more power than they're letting on, but they seem to be hinting that there's something else, which is interesting if it turns out to be planned well. If it's just kind of tacked on to be a higher power that to be surprising, I don't know if I'd be excited about that.
Well, there may be a celestial dragon president in a way.
Yeah,
like
there might be like a representative or someone who's directly responsible, or whose line rather is directly responsible for why the world is the way it is today.
Yeah, because before the celestial dragons were introduced, I always just assumed that was the five elders, but now it feels like the five elders are like stewards to the world government.
They've always felt that way to me. They seem to be moderators of the avatars
maintaining
of
a
Celestial
balance,
Dragon's will. Yeah.
They're immortal avatars.
Yeah. Still crossing my fingers on that.
Never grow old, they never die.
They're like Bebe's kids.
I think who's on
that's actually Ed, that's a really good point. But like I looked for differences, like any kind of difference in the 2 years. Maybe there's some difference with their clothing or their lapels out. I didn't look that closely yet, but as far as like facial differences, I didn't notice a thing between those 2 years.
And I already have that strong theory that because we don't see them in Robin's flashback at all, we just like see mouths and hear their voices. I'm like, Oda obscured their looks for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's probably because they look exactly the same.
Yeah, which is not the case with any character in One Piece when he does a flashback.
I think the next big thing, the next big reveal is the Blackbeard Kuzan connection. We talked about it a little bit. Is there anything else that you want to touch on with that?
Well, now that like potentially Jesus Burgess might be out of the picture, it's like, are we down to 10 captains as opposed to what happened to be 11?
Sabo
doesn't do that. He doesn't. I don't think he kills people.
Well, I'm not saying he's killed. He could be captured.
He'll be back.
I think he's just going to run away.
I think.
I hope so.
He's not done.
Yeah.
If freaking Conus's dad can come back, I'm pretty sure.
Well, Conus's dad had to come back for that gag where he's like, "Oh, poor."
Sorry for being alive.
Yeah.
Well, it's an interesting question. What does that say about his position as a Blackbeard pirate? Like, would Blackbeard allow him back in if he's been defeated? Because I was really surprised that they went to the point of having Sabo like take him down and weed out that sneak attack, because that means, you know, if he is supposed to be an end boss character for one of our main crew members, what does that say about their power? It doesn't make them look as good.
It says more about Sabo's power. Really?
Does it? That's exactly what I'm wondering. Does it say that he's that badass? And that like one of the people that we're supposed to be looking up to, one of our main crew members, can never reach that level? If so, cool, all right. But like, I don't know, I'd feel kind of crummy if they aren't able to surpass that kind of line.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I fully agree. I always see like each of the Straw Hats reaching like a pinnacle in the series.
And I kind of always saw Sabo as, I mean, he's supposed to kind of be, he's a much, I like him a lot more than Ace, but he's kind of the analogous Ace, in which when we met Ace back in Alabasta, he was this like unknowably very strong Logia user, like, whoa, this guy is powerful. And so when he eventually got taken down, it was that much more surprising. I think Sabo is supposed to be kind of that many levels up from where the Straw Hats are today. And I think the Blackbeard crew is still growing as the Straw Hat crew is growing. So I think even though Sabo got taken out this easily now, I don't think when we get to the point.
Sabo's been trained by the revolutionaries for 10 years. So
yeah. He is supposed to be very impressive. So I also accept that if we see him as the boss, but yeah.
The next thing I wanted to talk about, there's I think a good amount to talk about, is the Suru Garp or Suru Sengoku or
before
Garp
that
Sengoku. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Before that, like literally the panel before that, the fact that we've got these, we now should have this one panel again. This 1, 2, 3, 4 panels are very telling. They're very concise and they're very telling about what Oda wants to do with his world. And how the pirates exist and how business or the black market business exists in the world. And we've now got a lot of people pissed off at Law and Luffy, very pissed off. And among them, potentially very dangerous people. So, I mean, now you've got pirates on pirates, which could turn people against them in the end game, in the end battle.
Well, I don't... sorry, Greg. I imagine we're on the same page on this, where I always saw like they've hinted at the larger war that's coming.
Yes.
That it's going to be between Blackbeard's crew and Straw Hat's crew, and the Straw Hats are already like maintaining and coming up with these alliances. You can imagine this incident is going to give Blackbeard a lot of rallying call because people just won't like the Straw Hats.
Yep.
Especially if Blackbeard or one of the other crews takes over the black market. I imagine that's just not going to disappear completely. I imagine that someone will fill that void as always happens.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so what about the Suru ship scene?
So Suru, first time I read this, I was like, oh, that's cool. Garp and Suru are having a conversation. This is nice. And then I talked to Steven. And he was like, you know what? He's like, that's exactly what I thought too the first time I read it. And I was like, what? And Scooby Snack. And
so either that or you're doing the
Taz from Tasmania.
All good choices.
Well,
all 90s references.
I can do Taz's father. Well, that was quite a surprise. Would you like a glass of OJ with that cracker?
Oh man, I don't think anyone outside this podcast has seen Tasmania.
Yeah.
So right. First, we've got two hints. The first is the rank of Inspector General, and that didn't raise any flags. I actually thought it was just a phrase in Japanese when I was reading it, it just was something that I totally gleaned over. And he was like, Inspector General is like, that's Sengoku's current rank. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah. He said, it was in the film Z book. And I was like, oh, Stephen, touche. and then he said, and the second one, and this also hit me as strange. And this, I was like, wait, Sengoku? The first time I read it. He says, want a cracker. Now, we know that Garp loves, and this is, again, difficulties of translation, but it fits with Stephen's translation. We know that Garp loves Japanese quote-unquote crackers called senbei. However, what he offers here isn't a senbei. What he offers here is okaki. And if you remember Stephen's discussion from back when Corazon had his secret conversations with Sengoku over snail phone, their passwords were cookies and crackers, right? And Sengoku's
I forgot about that.
Wow.
Sengoku's was cracker, and it's not the senbei. He said okaki. So that's the hint that it's Sengoku here.
That's nice.
Yeah. Who's just, and this is fucking awesome because Sengoku has gone Garp. It's great.
Yeah. Because I'm like, he's calling her.
Learn to relax.
Yeah, he's calling her doll. I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Yes.
Wait, so it's all three of them on this ship then, right? Is Garp also there?
No indication Garp's there.
Maybe, who knows, but very, very cool subtle hints there by Oda.
Sengoku was the first person I thought it was when I read it. Then I switched to Garp, and then now I'm just confused. But no, I think it is Sengoku.
I might be seeing them soon if they're on their way to Dressrosa.
That's what I was going to say next is, are we going to see these guys intersect with everything else that's going on here? I can't imagine just adding Sengoku and Suru to this mix. And I do really want to see a panel or two of Suru gloating to Doflamingo. We got your ass. So the next thing I want to talk about briefly is Bonnie. There's something I want to mention with her, and that we know something happened to her 2 years ago when she last was with Sakazuki, but she's the only supernova who's clearly on her own and in dire straits, it seems. I don't know if there was anything that came to mind.
I don't know if she's in dire straits. She seems to be having a good time every time we see her.
She's stealing.
Well, she seems to be hiding.
She's on her own. Like, clearly she's a bum.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have a crew. She is running, stealing pizzas.
She seems
also
totally chill.
But she, like, every time we see her, she's cloaked, like, kind of like she's hiding herself.
Yep. Yeah.
Also, I like to point out, this is the first time it's revealed that she can definitely transform into an old woman.
Yeah, she can alter her age.
Yeah.
And interesting choice of words here in Japanese and English. Good job, Stephen. It's nice to see my classmates doing well.
As
this
we
is
go on.
Oh my God. Nope.
Yeah, I want to hear the reasoning for this, Greg.
Yeah, this is a reference to her generation, right? The pirate generation. Remember that famous spread?
The worst generation.
Well, the worst generation, and also we are the pirate generation. Is that the first color work that Oda did of the supernovas post time skip?
What was that in again? It wasn't in.
It was in Jump. It was in Jump, but it wasn't a cover. It was a contest that they ran for like catchphrases.
Fishman Island.
Yeah, it was it was early in the time skip. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she's referencing about being. She says literally in Japanese, "It's good to see we're the same age." It's doki is the word, and good to see. They put me in with the same crew or the same people at the same age, and it's very vague because it doesn't reveal again anything about her age, her actual age. It only reveals something about the generation. So that's why she says classmates is and it's a little bit more vague in Japanese, but we still don't have any idea of her age, but she does consider herself part of that quote unquote generation.
Now, what about the Sky Island business?
Yeah, this is I think we've already talked about this a little, that it's the hope that Eneru's return is imminent here. There's a lot. I mean, Brian and I could probably talk for a while. So, Steve, do you want to start with this one?
Can it please be Eneru? I mean, there's nothing really else to work with here. We don't see anything else. It's just all word of mouth and one sound effect.
Yeah.
Greg, do you have thoughts?
I don't have any thoughts on the Eneru connection quite yet, but I love the fact that he's got his own like chick brigade, like giving him back massages and shoulder massages while he chills out. If you look close enough, those are clearly females attending to him. So he's gone the way of the Whitebeard.
I can't see if they have wings or not.
I don't think they have wings.
I think the people running toward him have wings.
Man. No. This is they're not wings. That would appear to be a rough drawing of that priest dude who he works with him. He's in his crew. You can see him on Shabondi and also on when they go to the Lightning Island.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And he's robed. He's got a funky haircut. Yeah.
Okay, and now I didn't realize he was getting massage. Now I want Ender to show up so he can just be like, bitches leave.
Well,
or be like, where's my massage?
Brian, I just want you, I think we've reiterated this theory at least twice on the read through, but I don't know if we talked about it in the podcast. Yeah, so please go through it.
Yeah, so if many of you remember during the Skypiea arc, they mentioned that Enel's Blink from the island Blinka, which he destroyed, and that there was a strong Sky Knight who tried to defend him but lost. My theory is Unrouge is the Sky Knight, and he tried to defend his island against Enel, and for that he became the fallen monk.
Okay, so anything else you guys want to mention about your Rouge?
Well, hold on, that's awesome. Wait, where did it say that there was a guy who stood up against him?
It's Captain McKinley's giving a speech.
I think it's volume 30.
It's right after Conus makes a stand, and then the White Berets give the order to evacuate.
Yeah, and Enel's starting to do Mamaga. It's the lightning. Mamaragan, yeah. He's doing that, and McKinley's like reminiscing a little bit about Enel's past, because that's when they reveal Enel wasn't from Skypiea initially. He's from a whole other island that he destroyed himself.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, I caught this way back when we did
no way.
during the
Skype
2-year
here?
skip.
Oh.
During the 2-year skip, when we were rereading the before the time skip, I was like, oh, he's a Skypean, and he has big wings like Getetsu, Ohm, and all those other guys. So, and then like last we saw in Rouge before just now, he was heading on his way to a Lightning Island, looked concerned.
It's the only time I think we've seen him frown. Because I was just looking at it. I mean, we haven't seen him a lot, let's be honest. But I think it's the only time we've seen him actually frown. So it would be really, really, really interesting to see him encounter Eneru. I think if he does, we won't see it though. That's the problem. Because why would we see that? Doesn't make sense.
Well, it's Ino won't be a bad guy anymore. I think if anything, he'll just kind of like find his new role in the series, much like Crocodile.
I don't know. I think Enru still will be a bad guy. He's the guy who thought he was God. I mean,
he's not exactly a good guy.
There's no redeeming that.
Greg and everyone else listening, I'm going to try and find the chapter and page as we continue going through this, because I'm also interested to have that bookmarked. But the next thing I want to go to
is Capone.
Capone.
I'll retweet it.
So besides his great accent,
is he hanging out with the Twirly Brow Pirates?
Or where are the Twirly Brow Pirates? We see Big Mom and the whole Caesar thing going on here, but we don't see what happened to the rest of the crew.
Well, clearly Capone's like Big Mom's hitman crew at this point.
Yeah. Now this could be so many different ways. There's so many ways this could work out. Remember when they were sucked up into that thing in the sky? Was that Big Mom or was that something else? Did Mom forcibly take them into her crew, or did she rescue them and they're indebted to her? It could go so many different ways.
That's a good call.
Go ahead,
Sorry.
Sorry. Well, the ship that we see here, like that doesn't even necessarily have to be her fleet ship, her head fleet ship. That could be like another ship that they're on. I mean, we're supposed to assume that she has, this massive crew, yeah? So this could go a lot of different ways. Very surprising connection. I'm happy to see it. Also, I have an anecdote with this, if you'll allow me to indulge for a moment.
Indeed.
I love the crests that we're seeing here on the shields that they have. And I'm just going to pay close attention to all of the crests and like kind of medieval things that we see from now on in One Piece, because I'm totally bragging here, but I think some of you might know what this is. But back in April, I was able to go to the flower, I don't know what they say in English, like the flower viewing party or the cherry blossom viewing party, along with
Sakura Festival, I think they call
Sakura
it.
Festival, something. Like after all the Sakura have fallen is when the One Piece crew has their big party. And I was allowed to go to that, and when I was there, I gave Oda Game of Thrones Season 1 on DVD. And I was like, this is fucking awesome. I know you're talking about Walking Dead recently, but you should watch this. And he's like, cool, thanks. And I didn't know how that was going to work out, but I was talking to someone, a mutual friend, and I was like, did you ever, find out if Oda-san got into the Game of Thrones? He was like, he liked it so much, he went out and bought the second season, and he's already into that. Fuck yeah.
Good season.
I got Oda-san into Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
Everyone's gonna die.
Yeah, no big deal. I just know Oda. Oh, do you know him? Oh no, you don't, because he doesn't know anybody.
I'm glad to know that information.
Killing people.
Yeah, I'm really glad to know Oda's watching Game of Thrones. That makes me very pleased.
Now we just got to get him on Rick and Morty, and we'll be set.
That'll be a weird confluence of things that happen.
No.
Listen, Kobe. Oh, I don't know. Kobe, listen.
No, there's still time. Vegapunk could still be Rick. Oh, dreams come true.
Oh, God.
By the way, the Yarouge is volume 30, pages 70 through 71, for those who are curious.
But I just want to ask, who is Capone referring to as his comrades?
His men who are right behind him.
No, it's the
No,
generation.
it says, well,
Oh,
it's
no,
it
you're
seems
right.
our comrades are making quite a name for themselves. Are they referring to the worst generation?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's it's all very it's mysterious, and we don't know what's happening. I want to freaking see the twirly brow pirates. But
I also like to
we
point out
gotta-
that
yeah, go ahead, Brian.
I also like to point out that them wearing suits is very similar to like I wonder if they're wearing pink suits like Tapaga and was it
Tamago,
Pizza?
you mean?
Baron
Yeah.
Tamago
Peekums and Peekums. Baron
yeah
Tamago.
they had pink suits. So I'm like, I wonder if the gang Papone had moved over their color styles.
I don't. Well, do you guys think that they're teamed up with Big Mom?
At least
Definitely.
outlined.
Yeah,
But then why would they take Caesar for themselves?
because they're on Big Mom's ship, and Big Mom wants Caesar, and they're gonna make a name. You know, they're gonna take.
I don't know. I'm gonna say that I think Capone's just kind of intercepting here and thinking, hey, we'll take Caesar for ourselves while they're busy.
Maybe.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know. I just don't. I don't know. I feel like that's a leap, but okay, you might be right and I might be wrong. That's
That would be
completely
fun
possible.
because I want gang along with this alliance, like all the supernovas. I just want them all, collect them all.
There's no reason why they'd take Caesar for themselves if they're aligned with Big Mom.
Well, I want to talk about the other alliance, and that's the Kid Hawkins Apu one taking down Shanks, which is a big reveal. What are your thoughts about that?
That's how you make a name for yourself in this world, man. You got to take someone out. Nuke the whales. Got to nuke something.
I think when they formed the alliance, I think everyone just assumed that they were going after Kaido or Big Mom. I like this twist that they're going after Shanks. I wonder what the reason is. Maybe they think he's the softest.
I've been wanting someone to go after Shanks since Punk Hazard. Like I thought originally that was going to be Trafalgar Law's aim.
Totally. That's exactly what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other thoughts about it?
We need a shorter name for this alliance.
Yeah, totally. I was
My
like,
vote is for Cockpoo.
That's
Oh,
terrible,
that's-
man.
No.
No,
that's way better than Dumpling Lion.
Dumpling Alliance.
Dumpling Lion.
he's making a
Dumpling
reference.
Lion.
And we also have. I like that. There's the reference to Drake's dad getting killed by Doflamingo.
For some reason, I thought that was his older brother. I forget why I would assume.
No, I was all over the place. Like, I don't think anybody thought it was his dad because he was such a douche.
Well,
he
daddy
was so
issues in
brutal.
One Piece is not new.
Yeah, but he revealed in the volume 78 SBS that was his father, and he gave a little bit of the backstory,
Okay.
which is basically leading up to the fact that Drake is the new law. So I don't think it's. I think we can all assume that Drake is going to factor into the story from this point in a big way.
It meant he was going to be, the new heartthrob.
Well, I mean, he is. Yeah.
Maybe.
I will now don the jeans.
He's got his like weird eye patch cover thing and the spiky hair.
Yep.
But going to what Greg is saying, I mean, Kaido and Drake are kind of the next on the horizon. Speaking of Kaido, I mean, beyond what we said, I mean, do you think that is his silhouette? We know he is the king of beasts. He is something fearsome. We don't know what else.
Looks like a giant bull.
Yeah.
This guy is looking for him. So if he was that big, why would we be looking for him, right?
Maybe
so
he's
I'm
trying to get
wondering.
his attention.
Maybe he's trying to get his attention. I don't know, but
That's where I was going with that.
if this is a structure, and this is a long shot, but bear with me. Look at the pine trees in the front here. First, we've got snow blowing, so we got a wintry area. But these pine trees are very specifically Japanese pine trees. And if you look even at the opening title page, you've got Japanese pine to go along with the tengu. And this is specifically how Oda draws these. He's a very specific way. You can see it throughout the series. That color spread where Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and Chopper are all wearing the kimonos. Same exact kind of trees.
Are you suggesting this is Wano Kuni?
I'm not necessarily suggesting that it's Wano. It totally could be. However, I'm just for the time being going to be under the assumption that shadow is not Kaido. I'm going to say it's possibly a fortress, a mountain. I don't know. If it's a mountain, those things on the top appear to be, and this could be totally different because there's a cloud there, and they could turn out to be, I don't know, a circle or something. I don't know. Who knows? But if they're horns, that would make this seem very similar to the Japanese mythical island of Onigashima, which is the island of ogres.
Oh yeah.
And that would again tie Kaido to Wano Kuni very, very closely. And that comes from the myth of Momotaro, which has repeatedly been in the series.
And
Aka Inu, Sakazuki,
Yep.
Aka Inu, Aokiji, and Kizaru.
yeah,
are from
and Kaido's connection to Wano Kuni is not off base because Kinemon and Momonosuke reacted strangely whenever they mentioned Kaido when they were before Dressrosa.
I wrote an entire article on that and over a year ago, and it got nixed because of the information in it was a little bit too close to the truth.
Oh, so, yay. That's fun.
There you go. Yeah. Check mark there. It's so freaking interesting. Are there any other remaining? I think that hits most of the big stuff. I mean, we talked a little bit about the smoker.
Well, we talked about they're going to Bigger Pants' island and his lab.
Vegapunk, I think we're going to go to Bigger Pants' island. Bigger Pants?
For that, though, you got to have a pajama party.
Yeah.
Pajama party.
They have to braid Smoker's hair.
Damn it, I want to see all this. Are there any other thoughts? I mean, obviously...
Well, no, Fujitora is coming after Luffy and Law now. So Fujitora is also a very Japanese-y kind of Wano... He would fit in Wano. So we're really telegraphing that's where we're going next.
Well,
that's interesting. Yeah.
I since Greg is here, I just want to. There's a lot of people who are asking questions about this. He's referring. There are two things he could technically be referring to, saying that's just what I wanted to hear at the end, and that could be not ever wanting to set foot on a naval base again, which I personally don't think makes as much sense, or going after Straw Hat and Law.
I don't get why he thinks the ending was like, oh, that's just what I wanted to hear. I'm like, why does he want to take in Trafalgar Law and Luffy so bad?
They're pirates.
Yeah,
that's what I figured.
This is what he wanted to hear because it shows that his plan has worked. He's not saying let's fucking treat them well. He's not saying, well, I guess maybe we should replace one of the Shichibukai. He's not talking about that. He says, fuck this shit, bring in the pirates. And he's like, yes, that's what I want. And it's even a little bit more tough in the Japanese. I'm not sure why this choice is. I'd love to discuss it with Steven, but he actually, Aka Inu actually says in the Japanese, bring me their heads. And to that, he responds, that's just what I wanted to hear. And I'm just like, fuck. Really? Like you just like basically thanked these guys for saving the country. And like, okay, so what he does and what he says might be two entirely different things.
True.
This also might backfire on him. Like if the public support is on the Straw Hats.
Well, in Dressrosa.
In Dressrosa, for sure.
Yeah. So I don't know. Very interesting stuff. Plus, I don't know. They're safe from him on Dressrosa, I assume, because you've got, Hack's powers with Bartolomeo, to say the least.
Hack and Bartolomeo.
Oh, shit. Nice job, Steve. That was beautiful.
What?
Hack's powers with Bartolomeo. I'm not talking about Hack. I'm talking about Bartolomeo. But you said he knows kung fu because. Throw me a fucking book.
He also.
It's my first podcast in a long time, people. Come on.
Is a Matrix reference?
Jinbei's his best friend.
That's true. Jinbei is his best friend. And Jinbei might also be on the way. I mean, there's a lot of people who are converging on Dressrosa. It's also...
That would be chaotic at this point. It's like, get those pirates, get the Straw Hat Pirates and Trafalgar Law and all their allies. They're pirates. And Jinbei's like, hey, guys, I brought a poneglyph. Get him, too! Oh, you're all criminals. You're all committing so many crimes right now. God.
This is kind of the most desperate situation we've seen in the New World for the Straw Hats, definitely.
I'm glad there's no break next week.
Yeah.
I very, very much agree. I am very curious how the hell this is going to unfold. I mean, obviously the big picture stuff, which is most of this chapter, I'm very curious about. But with the small picture stuff, obviously Luffy and Law and Frankie and Zoro and company are all very important. And how the hell are they going to get out of here? What's going to happen next? Are we going to have a party? Probably not. How is this going to unfold? I mean, if anyone...
Sanji.
Yes, I
Holy shit! Like, I'm so interested. What's going on there?
I think Oda knows that, and it's kind of crazy because he's giving us like the stuff normally we'd be like dying for, which is the Five Elders and the supernovas and seeing what's happening around the world. But because we haven't seen the main characters in 2 years, it's just like, come the hell on, I want to see them.
That was such a tease.
Yeah. And that we see Big Mom's ship too.
Yeah, but we see like a sliver of it.
Yeah.
You see a Big Mom ship.
We see a Big Mom ship, that's true.
I have a question. This is chapter 793.
3.
Is anyone out of the runnings now for when Dressrosa ends?
This was Steven's prediction, which is actually very good that you mentioned that, because it also reminds me he predicted it because this is our 250th manga recap this week. We are a quarter of a millennia of manga recaps in. I also noted on the read-through...
We don't do a manga recap for an entire year, Zach.
What's a millennium?
No, not a like that's what Steven I think called it. Or Alumanium. But which he also I was also thinking about it, and 250 chapters before we started would have been right before Davy Backfight started, to kind of think of how long we have been doing this, which is kind of nuts on its own as well. So any final thoughts on this chapter? I feel like we could talk a lot longer about it.
I think that about wraps it up.
Well, for Ed, it wraps it. Steve, what?
I love it. Give me more.
This was just what the doctor ordered. Give us more. Transitional arcs are the shit.
They really are. And we've talked about volume 25 and 45 in particular being some of our favorite, and I think this is going to fall into that a little bit. So, why don't we get into the next segment, everyone? You ready?
All right.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, everyone. We are here with Jose. Hey, Jose.
Hi, everybody. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's nice to have you back on. This is for a special segment. We're talking about our Otakon panel, the One Piece Podcast Goes to Japan panel. That's going to be again Sunday at 9 a.m. in Panels Room 5. And Jose, you want to talk a little bit about what we'll be doing?
Sure. We are going to be there live at Otakon, and we're going to be, up there on the stage with Ed and Alex and yourself and myself. We're going to be talking to you guys directly, the fans. And of course, we're also going to watch the movie. I don't know exactly how we're going to watch the movie, so if they let me plug in my laptop, I'll bring the digital master so you guys will see it in the best quality. If not, they have a copy of it, so maybe just that. I'm not sure.
It will work.
Either way, it will work.
Yes, it will happen.
That will be the point.
We also have a Q&A session.
We have a Q&A session, so you guys can come in and ask us questions about the making of the film and tons of other stuff, including just One Piece stuff or any other things we're working on. Like OPP Dallas, which I have some kind of bad news about. Unfortunately, I thought it would be a good time to also update everybody on what's going on with that. Unfortunately, I'm super swamped, and there's some personal stuff going on in my life that I'm not going to be able to do the first episode justice in time for our July release date. So we're going to be pushing OPP Dallas back to August. Look for it kind of early-ish August. I have someone else editing the first episode right now. He's a very trusted colleague of mine, but either way, I still will be the supervising editor, and we'll get that. We'll finish that off once he's handed over the offline edit, and you guys will be able to see all the cool stuff we did at Funimation. Sorry for the delay.
It's good you wrote probably.
Yeah, it's a good thing I wrote probably on the trailer. I didn't write like, yeah, sure, we're totally going July. Probably.
So yeah,
nobody jumped to conclusions. IGPX had nothing to do with the delay, by the way. This just happened.
So again, check out the One Piece Podcast Goes to Japan panel. It will be the movie starting at 9 a.m. The Q&A starting probably around, it's like an hour 40 something minutes, so probably somewhere like around 10 to 11 a.m.
Yeah, we have like, what, is it 2 hours and a half or something like that?
I think we have a full 2 hour and a half session, so it goes from 9 to 11:30.
So we got a ton of stuff.
If you've seen the movie and you want to come for the Q&A part, probably stay for like the last part of the movie. Come in at like 10:15, 10:30, and you'll definitely see the very solid like last half hour and our Q&A session. We'll also have prizes and stuff, so please come. Hope to see you there. That's at Otakon in Baltimore, Maryland, and that is on July 20, I think it's 24th through 6th. And the actual panel is on July 26th. So huge thanks. I know, Jose, you put a lot of work not only into OPP Japan, you're putting a lot of work into OPP Dallas. And looking forward to the IGPX release as well.
Yeah, thanks. A small plug for that, I guess. I think Discotech has a panel, maybe? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. So look for that, maybe. I don't know what's going on there. But I'm looking very much forward to OPP Japan. We haven't had a live audience viewing OPP Japan since, what was it, Anime Boston? Since the premiere. So this is going to be the refined cut of the movie. This is actually the final cut that's out online. But you get to come see it with us on a big screen, and we get to laugh along with you at my horrible editing jokes.
And my horrible regular jokes.
And your horrible acting.
I'm both excited and ready to watch that.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah. It's that time of the month where we thank all of our favorite Patreon supporters. They're all our favorite supporters, but anyone who donates $5 or more gets their name read on this segment, and you could be part of that group if you just go to patreon.com/One Piece Podcast. First, we want to thank Corinna, the Spider-Man 360, Mike, I might be pronouncing that wrong, I apologize, Matthew, Cameron, Shinjojin, Kane, and Huntress Fan for their ardent support. Please check them all out on our Patreon page. You can see who's supporting us there. And each of them do a lot to help make this podcast bigger and better. This money goes to not just help us send us to more conventions, keep the site running, help us get new equipment when we need it. And there's a lot of people on this podcast who do need some new equipment. And everything else that makes the podcast great, and also will help us do bigger and better things in the future. Your support and the support of your friends or whoever actually wants to go out there to do it is incredibly appreciated. Again, you could just go to patreon.com/One Piece Podcast to donate. I also want to give a big thanks, of course, to our sponsor this week. Again, our sponsor is Squarespace. Please check them out at squarespace.com. Put in the offer code ONEPIECE, that's one word, to save 10%. Let's get on with the show.
This is the anime recap for episode 701, Sad Memories, Law, the Boy from the White Town. And guess what, Zach? The intro, like the intro between the song and like the recap is cut a little short this week, if you didn't notice.
Yes, it was.
I did.
We get the episode actually starts at 3:45.
I was shocked, like beyond shocked.
It feels like it's been years.
I mean, how much of a recap is that? Because it's 2.5 for the intro, and then the other little intro. I mean, like,
it was less than a minute of actual recap.
It's incredible. Back
at Spider Miles, as we were last week on the North Blue 10 years ago, and we only see there's an extended period of silence at the beginning of this episode, and which I am always a fan of. I think it's just it originates from the early days of watching DBZ dubs,
where there was no silence,
no such thing as silence in a Bruce Falconer production. But we can hear the sounds of the sea and his stomach growling, and so it's time for him to come see Doflamingo. So Doflamingo calls for him basically, and we see that Corazon, as he's walking into the hall, just tosses him back off into the trash pile again.
And this is where we get the pizza scene, right?
Mm-hmm. It doesn't seem as glorious in the anime.
No, I think it's because that one page that we spent 20 minutes talking about that time. I don't know, it's just the
Pizza
detail.
foul.
They did look that all looked very appetizing in the anime too. Like they was better drawn than the characters, the food.
Now I'm just thinking how pissed off I was that we didn't call that episode Pizza Foul.
Stab through the heart.
Yeah. So,
Oh, so
this
is
like
it that time of year to call this episode that?
Oh, that's great. Yes, it'll be the third one we call that. Perfect. Writing that one down.
So this is like the nicest animated talking episode we've ever had. Like, this is a very nicely animated episode, but so much of it is just expositive talking. But we see that the Doflamingo crew family is going to target Rakesh next because they are doing business with everyone else except for him, and I think Doflamingo feels like they are looking down on him for some reason. So they will have to be taught. And Treble taunts Law by asking him, "Hey, how much longer are you gonna last? Don't you want to quit? Come on, man." And we find out that the rule is to never defy the executives, or else you might get the impaling torture.
Yeah, interesting.
The buffalo almost died from the torture, and especially don't touch Corazon because he's Doflamingo's precious biological brother.
I was kind of hoping Buffalo actually would have died there, but that didn't happen.
No. But at this point, it's revealed that Law has a white lead disease, which Jola freaks out about, and she scares Buffalo with it. But as Doflamingo admonishes her, "Shut up! Stupid people will believe you. It's actually poisoning. It's not a contagious disease." So we start to see what's this sort of resource problem that, or what caused the Law to be poisoned in the first place. We're going to find out.
Yeah.
So and also. We find out how Law escaped from the White Town Flevance by hiding under a stack of dead bodies.
Hey, I'm eating here.
Yeah. Do you guys remember reading this in the manga and how affecting that was when you read that?
Well, there was a panel in the manga that didn't really show up here where you see him in the pile of dead bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty gross and pretty terrible.
He pledges revenge on Corazon, despite what Doflamingo just said about not harming his brother. And then Baby Five tries to patronize him, and then he makes her cry by staring at her, which makes me laugh. So we see that the family has gone to Rakesh, and they're doing a Reservoir Dogs walking towards the warehouse kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But and they all look so much different and better when they were younger too.
Oh yeah, they were in much better shape. Maybe also because they had to work hard and they had to, fight for their.
Yeah, I think
food.
that's part of the story of Dressrosa is how these people, they let themselves go. They were complacent with their rule of Dressrosa.
Yeah, definitely. They got lazy and fat, and I like how they always run at people shooting at them, but I guess they must feel pretty confident because everyone they go to attack are the worst shots ever.
Yeah. And even little Baby Five is adorable with her gun.
They never, that's a fun little scene. Just seeing her, she already has her devil fruit powers, and just a little itty baby Five shooting her leg gun is pretty fun.
And did anyone notice that suddenly in One Piece we have machine guns that don't look any different from the regular guns? It seems like everyone's firing machine guns in this episode.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, no, that's possible. I thought the animation in this episode was a little cutting corners, it felt like. Considering the content was very good, I thought.
Well, it was nicely animated, but it's also a heavily talky episode.
Well, I thought a lot of the
action episode.
I thought a lot of the art was off model. I don't know, Steve, if you noticed or thought that.
Some of the characters are a little wonky. They gave Joe a jawline. I don't remember having a jawline in the manga.
Yeah, she looks more like a Bob's Burgers character.
Bobby!
That's artistic.
The spice rack. I'm just going to look up
Bob's Burgers quotes.
Yeah, that's exactly. No, I'm going to just look up Jola from the manga and see.
Ed, you could continue.
At this point, we get a little bit of Flevant's backstory while we clean up a bunch of dead bodies, and they talk about how it was this beautiful sort of gleaming white country, and they found out that the reason for that was this precious, I guess,
white lead.
Yeah, white lead. I was thinking it's a metal or a mineral or something like that. It's basically unobtainium. It can be used for everything.
It's not unobtainium, it's lead. This is exactly what happened in real. We talked about this in the manga, but we did this in the real world too.
Everything from cosmetics to weapons. It's good for everything. And we get a lot of sort of nostalgic piano music
It's
and
people. No, it's not people.
pans over scenery. And we see that Law actually has a pretty normal family of genius surgeons, and but they're like telling him, like back when he was a kid, like you can't studying too much isn't healthy. You have time. Everyone can go to the festival for 30 minutes and then back to work. You have so many patients. Back to the future. Come back to the past at this point. So why is the town gone, Lauji? Why? We see at this point we see Doflamingo with his face buried in a book of Flavance. He's just passed out, drinking his wine, reading his books,
with his sunglasses off,
but with the book covering his face.
Yeah, we'll never see that.
And so we find out that the government knew it all along that the lead was poison, but they didn't care about the people. And it was more useful to them by taking it out of the ground and transporting it and selling it. No matter what happened to the people who handled it, they don't really matter. That's the dirty secrets of the world government, again, laid bare for everyone to see. And the royalty of that country are also terrible people. And they explain how the children of the poison will have shorter life expectancy by generations, so that Law will basically, he's never going to grow up. And they explain later on that everyone sort of fell ill at the same time because of the differing lifespans of people who have been poisoned up and down their family line. But that takes us to the ad break, and we come back and we see that Law has a sister. We have Lammy. Well, actually, we saw her before, but she actually does have to rush she's rushing to the festival because she does not have long to live. There will be no more festivals for her. She collapses in the middle of the street, and the splotches start to show up.
So nonchalant, Ed, because she will not be able to live much longer.
Well, you guys aren't helping out much. So.
Well, it's a very meaty episode.
It's all expository dialogue and
it's
flashback intensity stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of dialogue and exposition.
Like I could tell you my thoughts, but you have to get through what actually happens before. Yeah.
So the neighboring countries got paranoid. They thought that the white lead disease, which spread quickly among Flavancians, because everyone basically fell sick at the same time, as I said. So the world government didn't do anything to say that this isn't contagious. So,
right.
Basically,
they did the opposite.
They quarantined them, and then people in Flavance tried to get out, and the other countries used that as a pretext to basically destroy the country.
This scene I thought was very well done. It reminded me of the second Renaissance from the Animatrix. I thought it was this just very well done, brutal scene that was very atypical for One Piece. Which is Flashback is oddly brutal.
Oh yeah, I mean,
with the gas masks, I think kind of help that apocalyptic kind of feeling that comes with it.
So the one thing Flavance did have was a lot of ammunition left, but it's
made of lead.
Yeah, but the other countries just said self-defense and destroyed the country. So, and we see that Law. There's a nun, a sister, who is trying to save all of the children, and they're going to let the children escape. Come on, Law, you have to have hope. And all his friends are beckoning him to come with my parents are both dead, so I have to live on. Basically, like the Robin speech, except this kid dies.
Yeah,
it's so brutal.
That's the thing. It's oh, you're making this worse on me, Oda. Because when I say all these kids, oh yeah, we gotta escape. Yeah, my parents are dead, and I gotta live on. I'm like, oh god, you're not. I know you're not.
Yeah, but
and it sucks. Yeah, because we've gone through that with like you said, with Robin, and it sucks to see a non-happy ending to that kind of path for a character.
Yep. But he was right not to go with him. He doesn't go with them because he has to tend to his sister, who is basically up in the mostly destroyed hospital.
Yeah, jeez, this was grim.
Yeah, but Law is trying to basically play Life is Beautiful with his sister. If anyone's ever seen that movie, about the Roberto Benigni,
I know of it.
The Italian Jews in the Holocaust. But it's not a prison camp. It's there isn't a war outside. It's just a festival. Everyone's having fun, and this part of the festival is you have to hide in the closet. But then there are people who they're sieging the hospital, and they shoot 2 infected people. And the only people in the hospital were Law's parents, and he breaks down. Just
Yeah.
Understandably.
yeah, this is a brutal episode.
Very
It's kind of hard to watch.
It is very hard to
Oh,
watch.
how about that one scene where the couple runs down the steps and that guy comes around with a freaking flamethrower and like roasts them to death? That
Or
was
the
dark.
ones, the ones who try to cross like Checkpoint Charlie and sneak through the fence.
Oh God.
Oh, yeah.
You would think Toei would tone this down a little bit. No.
Well, they toned down
No.
the part of dead bodies.
Yeah,
was about it.
but
True.
still,
That was about
still
it.
the visuals of it were dark enough, and this was intense.
Well, the whole thing with the sister and then coming back to the sister later and seeing her and all of the kids dead,
Yeah.
which I hate to ruin. Sorry, I hate to jump the gun there.
But the nuts. The next thing that happens, he sees the nun. The nun is dead. All of his friends are dead. There wasn't hope for anybody.
Was it just I did tear up a little bit. I don't maybe I was emotionally fragile while watching this episode, but I that hit me a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, I know it's supposed to. I just was
They burned the
wondering if anyone
hospital to
else
the ground. And then they burned the hospital to the ground. So, I mean, it isn't explicitly said, but it's Lami was in there. She burned. So,
Probably did, yeah.
yeah. And the Doflamingo family finally finished their mission on Rakesh Island there, and so it's we see coming back to Law that he does not think it's fair that Corazon gets to live when everyone else that he cares about dies, even if who cares if he is Doflamingo's brother. He's an asshole. But Law runs him through the back with a sword, but Buffalo sees it, and now Law is going to get impaled.
Potentially.
Potentially. Well, that's what happened to Buffalo. That's all he
That's
knows.
what Buffalo is about to do.
So that's the end of that episode.
Steve, what did you think?
I thought this episode was paced very well. It's a lot of dialogue. It's a lot of story, like it's a lot of exposition and
Narration.
characters talk. Yeah, narration. I still thought it was good. Character designs were a little wonky here and there, but I think like the Don Quixote family, they looked a little wonky. But I thought Law was always drawn very well. It was really good. Some good score. A lot of good tracks were used. Like I said, it was paced.
Oh yeah, there was a new.
Like,
I think there was a new track at the end when he was crying out for his family.
Whatever track they used for when the Don Quixote family was kind of first reservoir dogging it to wherever it was called, something ish.
Oh, Rakesh.
Rakesh. That was really good. I thought this was a pretty good episode. I can't really find a lot wrong with it. This was one chapter, but there was, like you said, this was a very meaty episode, so it really didn't feel like it was getting dragged out.
Yeah, I agree with Steve. I thought this was a really good episode. The flaws with it, I think, are mostly in how it, the art, not even necessarily the animation. It looks like they cut some corners with this, but it was well compiled and well acted. So I liked it a lot. It hit me emotionally in a way that I can't remember the last time an anime episode has done. So I think that's all it needs to do, and I think it succeeded for me. So I'm a big fan of this one.
Mm-hmm. Let's hope it continues this way with the, decent pacing. I think the animation could improve if there's scenes with more action in it, but there isn't necessarily a lot of action. There's a lot more of intricate plotting, I think, and like maneuvering as opposed to like straight ahead fighting that'll happen in this flashback. So
Yeah,
who knows how well animated it actually will need to be. There's a lot more walking around and talking than fighting.
Next week's I'm really curious about with Doflamingo's backstory. It's weird that we get two backstories in a row like this as anime episodes. It kind of strikes. It's kind of odd how that worked out. But I'm looking forward to it. I think we're in a very good place in the anime and in the story, in the Dressrosa story right now. So it's fun. I'm excited to go through these. Why don't we go into the piece together segment? Strap on your seatbelts. This is gonna be a long one.
All right.
Today's episode of the One Piece podcast is sponsored by Squarespace. And before we get into the Piece Together segment, I want to talk a little bit about our sponsor this week. Steve, you use Squarespace. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your experience with it?
I needed a new website desperately. I am an artist. I mention that all the time. And I needed a new portfolio website. The one I had was just very bare bones. And I was like, I got to make a new website. The only problem is I suck at doing that stuff. I am like a caveman when it comes to this. And I needed an easier way to go about making a portfolio. And in comes Squarespace. And I've heard the name before and I checked it out. And it is simple. It is so easy. All I had to do is just, click, drag and drop all like my artwork and just make a gallery. It's almost stupid easy, but it's a great website. I think my website looks fantastic. It looks professional. And I guess now I'm just blurting out my secret that it was easy to make. But if you didn't know that, then you'd be like, oh, wow, this guy really knows what he's doing. So kind of blew my cover there, but that's how good Squarespace is.
No, I don't. Do you think everyone out there thought you were just like a master web designer?
I sure hope so. But then again, I wouldn't want to be hired to do web design.
Anyway, so if you want a site like Steve's, which is at steveyurko.com, but next time we'll have Jammer's story. You could check that out. Again, squarespace.com. Make sure to use the offer code ONEPIECE, that's one word, to get 10% off your first purchase from Squarespace. Jammer, did you have something else you want to say as well?
Yeah, well, something that's also really good is that when you sign up, you can actually get a free domain for up to a year, and that's like not only on top of the 10% purchase that you get off for using the One Piece code word, or the offer code, but you get what's essentially $10 to $15 off of a domain name, because that's normally what they'll cost you if you buy it separately. So that's definitely worth it by itself. So.
Well, again, the promo code is One Piece, one word. So again, that is squarespace.com. Starts at $8 a month, and you get a free domain if you sign up for a year. It's trusted by millions. It ensures security and stability. Just start your free trial today. No credit card required. Squarespace.com. Offer code One Piece. So let's get into some questions, comments, and theories in our Piece Together segment. This week we asked you guys questions on Reddit. It's a really special chapter this week, so we want to make sure we get everyone's opinions, no matter how long or short. Longer than 140 characters.
Just imagine what happens if next week's chapter is also a very special chapter. It will the Piece Together gravy train will never stop flowing.
That's one way to think about it. Let's start with Piratus Unluck, who is Jill from our editorial staff. I think she has a column this week, right, Jammer, or next week?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I can look it up and let you know.
This is literally your job. No, it's fine.
Yes, it is this week.
No, it's not his job. If it was his job, he'd get paid for it.
Let's just not talk about that. Two questions for us this week. First, what do you think Doflamingo would have been like if his father had not left Marijoa? He's always had the potential to use Conqueror's Haki. Do you think he would have become strong?
Are celestial dragons really strong? They don't have any adversity in their life. What do they need to be strong for?
That's kind of what I was thinking. It's like peace does not build up strength. If you're doing fine and there's nothing to worry about, why would you want to be strong?
Yeah,
peace builds a Kardashian.
That's a disturbing thought. Kardashian celestial dragons.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there are celestial dragons who aren't like Charlos and those guys, but I think there's a lot of sitting around when you're a celestial dragon, just doing whatever you want. So I don't think that they really have the chance to develop their strength or their power or their violence.
She also asked, do you think we will ever meet a celestial dragon who is actually powerful and not just politically powerful?
I hope so. I hope we meet not only a powerful one, but I hope we meet one that's kind of like Doflamingo's dad, where he was like sympathetic and wanted more than his everything handed to him. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Well, there's none. I think he was the only one in the entire history of that.
I think there could be more. That'd be interesting if they came across one. It'd help change things up a bit and have them not be just ugly, evil people.
Indeed.
Next question from It's Kaido. Oh, there he is.
Kaido, where are you?
Kaido.
From the 11 supernova, who do you think are the most fitting to be the next 4 emperors? I'm going to put some constraints to his question. Obviously, Luffy. So I'm going to cut him out. And Killer and Zoro are both, or neither of them are captains. So you got to choose
And
from the rest.
probably not Law either. Just
No,
by
no.
virtue.
Law, I'm saying which of, it's not like which in the story do you think are going to be the next 4. I mean, you could say that. But which 4 do you think would be the most fitting? So I don't know how you want to interpret that. Steve, do you have any?
Luffy, Kid, Law, and
Okay, while he's thinking of number 4,
Drake.
Why Drake?
If Kaida gets toppled, I guess.
Well, Drake just seems kind of like a sad boy. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah, I don't
I don't know.
I don't know if he's. I don't know how much of a leader he is, but I mean, we hardly know anything about him, so it's hard to say.
Yeah.
I like
Ed.
Rouge.
No, fuck that guy.
Why?
His shit-eating grin. I just don't like the way he looks.
Oh my god.
I'm not
That's
kidding.
mean, Gemma.
I'm actually dead
Yeah.
serious. I do not like the way
Are
he
you
looks.
like anti-sky people? Do you have like
No,
a racism towards
just-
sky people?
He scares me, man. He's just like his smile
That's
is
the
just
point.
terrifying. No, it's not. Well,
No,
my-
it is the point. It is exactly the point to be terrified.
But I think that having one of the 4 emperors who comes from the sky just advances my interest in more things coming from the sky.
Yeah, I think the sky is going to be important. I'd say Luffy and Law both being emperors would be kind of interesting, especially if the story progresses as it is.
I don't think at this point in the alliance, I don't think it's possible simply because
I mean, this would be way down the road. I don't
right,
think
but
this
I
is-
think mostly because Law is kind of in alliance with Luffy, and at some
Yeah,
points
yeah.
about that it was mostly Luffy. He'll kind of probably be thought of as a secondary character to Luffy by the world. So I just think
I'm interested to see how that's going to happen because right now Law had a bigger bounty than Luffy. He was a 7 warlord and he wasn't absent for 2 years. He was doing shit, making a name for himself. So
Like, does anyone think Apu, Hawkins, Bonnie, or Capone would make a good 4th emperor?
I think
Four
Bonnie
emperors?
is nomadic at the moment. I don't see her making a name for herself at the moment. I
Maybe
don't know.
Capone.
No,
No?
Capone for the same reason as you said Drake. I don't see him as. I mean, he's a type of leader, but I don't think he's that type of leader.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question is from King of the Parents. I'm sorry, I'm butchering it. Do you guys think that Luffy will get distracted and have a party, or will he bail because he's worried about Sanji and Big Mom? Luffy has had a party of some sort at the end of every arc. Do you think this will hold true here?
I don't think Luffy's in any position to be going anywhere right now.
it's true.
He's messed up.
Well, not only is he messed up, but Fujitora is potentially hunting him down now.
Wonder if
Oh,
we'll give him a
yeah.
head start.
Well, Fujitora is hunting him down. Half his crew isn't on the island. He has to get the hell out of there. Actually, I was looking through volume 73. I think that's the one where they split the crew. And he says something, one of them says something along the lines, we'll come right to Zoe as soon as we kick Doflamingo's ass. So I think they have to just get the hell out of
I guess
Dressrosa.
Manishari is there even if Chopper is gone. So
That's
What do you-
true.
What do you think the odds are that Luffy and everyone else is going to get taken not towards Zoe next because of whatever Fujitora's plan is?
I think there's going to be some sort of confrontation. And then there's still the stuff with Sabo in the background. So there's still a lot of unfinished business in Dressrosa.
I mean, we can't assume Sabo's left yet. They were just getting on the ship, right?
But to answer the question, I don't think there's going to be a party. And yeah, we don't think Sabo's left yet. I mean, he still wasn't even down in the underground port area yet. He was still above ground on the transponder snail.
Right.
Any other opinions or no party? No party. Steve, do you care if there's a party?
I feel like Luffy might get caught up in a party and then realize, oh crap, there's something like Law's gonna be like, there's somewhere we have to be.
And there's an admiral who's trying to kill you right now. Can you stop partying for a minute?
Yeah, that's the thing. The whole Fujitora thing is gonna get them off the island much quicker.
Yeah, I think so as well.
We'll see you next Monday.
Next one's from Shy Guy 531. What do you think of the possibility of Corazon being Sanji's father? Because both are from North Blue, both have similar looking hair, both smoke, and Sanji would have been a little kid when he died. I agree with that theory.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, I
pretty
agree
much
with
how
that response.
Yeah. I feel like it's connecting things that don't need to be connected.
Yeah.
Like, if people could think of a good reason for that to happen, that would be interesting. But that's also kind of like fan fiction at that point.
Yonko Productions says, given Chapter 793, which supernovas do you think would ally with emperors apart from the alliances we know about? I think did we see all of the supernovas this week? I think we did, right?
Yeah. Except Zoro.
You're gonna make me look through it, aren't you?
No, I don't think we're gonna see any more alliance. I mean, we got Drake and we got Capone.
We didn't see Luffy.
Yeah, who could Luffy be allying with? Oh my god.
Sorry.
But what? So back to the questions though. Who would they align with?
Well, I mean, who else is not aligned with anyone is the question, I guess, and that's Yarouge, that's Bonnie. Is that it?
I don't necessarily think. I still.
What about Drake and Kaido?
No, Drake is with Kaido. He's aligned. That he is
right.
aligned with someone. Capone is with Big Mom, probably.
I don't necessarily believe that. I don't necessarily believe that Capone is allied with Big Mom.
No, not at all.
It was very heavily implied.
Thank you, Jammer.
No,
How?
It was implied. He says we're taking him for ourselves.
But
Big Mom.
But you see Big Mom's boat there, and they're on Big Mom's boat.
Ah, you're right. And Big Mom and father. You're right. They're married. I agree.
Well, I don't know.
Good point.
You're right. I'm looking at the manga right now. Where's the evidence that they're on Big Mom's ship?
Why would they show Big Mom's ship in that small panel, which is an establishing shot, and then
because they're meant to show that they
different?
approached Big Mom's ship to be like, all right, there they are. They're Caesar.
No, but if you're trying to establish that, you have to show Capone's ship at least partially as well.
I don't.
I think you're making a huge leap. Here's the
thing. Like
you're making a huge leap.
What?
So no, hey, shut up. So here's a question, Zach. I have a question for you.
Yes.
What were the twirly brow pirate? What were those guys doing when we last saw them?
It's a good thing you asked, because I was for some reason reading these today. When we last saw them, they were getting attacked by the Big Mom singing ship, and decided to head off. But we don't know to Zoe. They said we'll see you in Zoe.
So were they running away from Big Mom?
They were running away from Big Mom.
No.
Or they were gonna counterattack.
Sanji asked for permission to counterattack, and Luffy gave him his blessing.
That's true. He did.
So
say
that makes no sense. That there would be no. It would make no sense. He's like, we're getting for ourselves. It seems like they would have clashed already.
The way I see it is they're
something.
I see them,
or they are approaching the ship, and he's like, "There's Big Mom. We're gonna go get it."
No, I think he's on a Big Mom satellite ship, and he's going after Caesar on her behalf. Maybe they got away. I don't think that's that ridiculous to think about. Why would you the big?
I wish we had Steven on here, because the phrase "we're taking Caesar for ourselves" implies that we're taking him for us, not for Big Mom. Otherwise, I feel like he'd say, "Oh, we got to retrieve Caesar. We got to get Caesar back."
Yep.
But
it sounds like he's snatching him from someone else. Like yeah.
Yeah, but if you look at every other establishing shot on those 3 pages, so the one with Suru's ship, it doesn't it doesn't show that, and then another ship.
Well, it doesn't say on a certain ship. It says in a certain sea.
Okay. I don't know. I don't see.
There's not enough evidence for either of you, really.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you're wrong. I just don't. I feel like it's a huge leap to take.
That's funny, because I think you're taking a huge leap.
Okay, we're not getting anywhere. We're just going to keep going back and forth. Anyway,
we'll have to wait and see.
Can we just do rock, paper, scissors, and then we'll...
No! I'm standing by my argument!
Jesus Christ. I was making a joke.
I can't tell. You're good at sarcasm.
Thank you. Chip Chaps. Chip Chap has 3 questions. First, whose reveal do you think we'll see first? Vegapunk, Green Bull, or the mystery 7th Warlord, or Kaido?
Kaido.
Jammer,
do you disagree?
I disagree.
No, I think we're probably gonna because we already got kind of a shot of Kaido. I think that's a hint that we'll probably be putting him off for just a little bit longer.
That is true.
Who was the first? What was the first thing he said? He asked, like, what was the list
Vegapunk.
of? No,
Mr. Baggy Pants.
Maybe Vegapunk actually.
I don't see us. There's still a little bit of a ways. I think it's a few days.
I mean, but yeah, why do I care what Smoker and the kids do? That's less important to me than I think Luffy's going to end up fighting Kaido sooner, and I think we may not see Smoker again until for a long time.
Yeah, it's possible. I think maybe no. I guess I was about to say Pluto. That's not his name. I guess Kaido is probably the most likely.
I think the
You just
seventh
got Pluto
warlord.
on the mind there, Jammer.
I do.
I think the seventh warlord is perfectly reasonable to think could happen.
That's the kind of thing that could happen next chapter.
Yeah, it's like a wild card that could just be thrown in there. Yeah. Number 2, what do you think about Kid Alliance's target? How do you think that fight will play out? And that was something that was really on my mind.
It's completely completely unsurprising that Kid, who is frequently described as sort of like the least honorable pirate, that's why he has a bounty higher than Luffy when we first meet him, that he's going to go after someone who, now that Whitebeard's dead, seems to be the most honorable pirate of the 4 emperors. We don't know, but he seems that way based on what we know of him.
That's true.
So they're sort of setting up these big opposites.
I think, Shanks is like such a protagonist in our story that it kind of feels like, no, don't you go after Shanks. It feels like, they're going after, it's the equivalent of going after the Straw Hats or something. It's a very, I think that's kind of why that hit home for me.
Usopp's dad is there.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
I forget it, even though it's at the very beginning of every single volume of One Piece.
Rockstar, you guys.
Next question comes from Retro PK. Of all these supernovas, who are you most excited to learn about and why? And why is it Scratchman Apu?
Actually, I agree with him. It is Scratchman Apu. Mostly because I find him to be the most relatable and the most interesting.
So you could also play piano on your teeth.
Relatable on a personality level.
Okay.
Play piano song.
He just seems like a cool guy to hang out with, whereas the other ones are all intimidating and boring. Well, not boring, just sort of serious.
Bonnie seems fun. She can change her age and she eats a lot.
She seems like
I could totally hang out with her.
Bonnie seems like she'd be a pain in the ass most of the time.
Yeah.
Like, more food. I'm like, hey, I want to eat too.
She's like the guy from Spirited Away.
That's true.
No face.
If you as a guy like eating a lot of pizza, you probably don't want to hang out with someone who eats all of the pizza, even if they're more relatable. Next question comes from Upvote My Everything. How much do you think Law and the crew will be worth now that they have defeated Doflamingo? We talked a little bit about this. I don't know if anyone who hasn't had a chance. I think Jammer, were you on for that?
No, I wasn't. But honestly, I can't really speculate at this point. There's just so many variations and stuff, and we have to consider maybe how the world government perceives them above all else. So, and at this point, it's questionable it's questionable to me how far Fujitora is going to get with his mission, and therefore maybe the Straw Hats won't be considered as threatening based on whatever he does. I don't know. It's weird. There's a whole bunch of politics that go into bounties, and I'm not sure what exactly is going to be affected in this next pre-arc arc.
Lemist has the next question, and I'm sorry, Jammer, you might want to step out. It's about Yarouge. He asks, who do you think appeared in front of Yarouge? A lot of people predict or hope that it's Eneru or NL. I've read another user in the theories and discussion thread on Reddit that think it's Lafitte from Blackbeard's crew. If it is Lafitte, it'd be a nice way to affiliate Yarouge with the Blackbeard crew, since all the other supernovas seem to either be working under or going against one of the 4 emperors, except for Yarouge and Bonnie. And all the emperors are somehow connected with these supernovas now, except for Blackbeard.
Hang on, I'm confused by the first part of that question.
Yes. What's what part of the fact that it would be Eneru?
No, what part is he talking about?
When Yarouge is on the Sky Island recuperating and something goes boom and this underling says, hey, there's someone there.
Oh, that. Okay, good point.
Yeah, what else could it be?
I don't know. For some reason he said appeared before Yarouge. I was like, that was Bonnie. I don't know what he's talking about. And I didn't think about what happened afterwards.
In the chapter. Okay.
Yeah, right, before that. Exactly.
Okay. Gotcha.
No, I'm sticking with Eneru. I mean, I guess Lafitte is an interesting.
It could be Gonfall.
I doubt it. It seemed that they were kind of more scared or taken
Gonfall's
aback.
dead.
No, he isn't.
I know.
It's possible. I mean, he's old.
No, he was just in the 2-year. What's happening with people? You guys are spreading a lot of misinformation.
Yeah,
But
he's
he's
drinking. He's drinking
No,
pumpkin juice.
it's not misinformation. He's still old.
He is old, but he's not dead.
He's basically dead.
No, he is not. He's doing fine.
Jammer, what is with you? You
I have no.
You,
I like.
you
I
don't
just
like
wanna-
people for their looks, and then you hate the elderly.
I feel bad, but I'm just trying to make this as interesting of a segment as possible.
You're
and I just wanna
not-
stir up shit.
You're stirring up all the wrong shit.
Sorry.
It's like, oh, I hate that Luffy. He's such a protagonist. I
Don't
want-
apologize for your opinions, Jammer.
Yeah, stir up better shit.
Okay, I'll do my best.
Next one says Bonnie for the next crewmate. I'm not reading the words she actually wrote. This is from SS253. Looks like she doesn't have her crew anymore. She has an awesome devil fruit and possibly an interesting backstory with Akainu. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, it's not
That we
surprising
haven't
she doesn't
talked
have
about.
not surprising she doesn't have a crew anymore. I mean, she was in a pretty bad shape last time we saw her.
That's for sure.
So
We have a lot of Eneru questions, so I will skip past those.
wait, why?
Because they're all the same.
Oh, it's
that
all-
we've
all
already
the same
talked about.
question.
Yeah,
Okay.
Then ask one of them once.
Yeah, ask them all, and then we'll
Okay,
answer.
I'll ask
one at
this
a
one then. Eneru could be on that Sky Island. They add something different, so I'll say this is from Malone Guru. Would anyone be willing to do their best Eneru impression?
Oh my.
I would like a gin and tonic.
That's your best Tatum impression.
Well, that's the Eneru impression we have to go off of.
Peel this for me, won't you?
Buffoon asks.
Yeah.
When did he turn into man?
That was like Mandark.
Buffoon asks, what One Piece mystery do you want the answer to?
all of them.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Honestly, I'd prefer Will of D to be answered as soon as possible because we've gotten to the point where it's been mentioned over and over again, and I'm almost convinced that Oda does not know what the Will of D is. I'm actually not convinced of that, but I just want to know what it is so we can.
You know,
already start
once you
applying
mention that you're just stirring up shit, people realize you're just saying shit.
No, but honestly, Will of D is something I'm most curious about because I just feel like it's at this point unnecessarily being brought up constantly, and no one knows what it is, and I'm just ready to know what it is.
RPH327 said, so after this week's chapter, I'm positive that Kaido, Drake, and Caribou are on Wano in the winter based upon the trees, which we mentioned, Greg talked about this a little bit, and the huge shadow, which I perceive to be the upper floors and roof of a Japanese castle. The tinfoil hat theory here is that Kaido is backwards is Odiak. The Straw Hats, let's wait for this. The Straw Hats plan to meet up on Zodiac. Kaido's Smile minions are going to be based on the Japanese Zodiac with Drake as the dragon, quote unquote. I also think that Kinemon is not Momonosuke's father, and that he, Kanjuro, and the Third Samurai are actually his tutors / guardians.
Hold on, can we go back?
And that he actually is like the Emperor?
So there are 3 theories here. We'll go one at a time. First off,
that's kind of crackpotty, but it makes sense, you know.
Well, let me just start with the Zodiac one, the Kodiak one.
number
I think
2. Yeah, okay.
the fault there for that one is that the Japanese language is phonetic, so it wouldn't be Odiak, it would be Do Aiku or something. It'd be different if he was going with Japanese language. So that doesn't quite work out. Then again, Oda has used English
Also true.
to do stuff like that before, but it's a very Japanese name, so I highly doubt it.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to be doing English puns. We're going to a Japanese island.
Also a good point. That's true.
What were the other 2?
The first one was is everyone in Wano? We talked about this a little bit with Greg, but I don't know if you guys.
I don't know. I mean, Greg saw the castle as well, the building possibly.
Yeah.
So I mean, that seems more likely.
I could see them all being in Wano. Who knows if Caribou's there and what he's up to? I really don't care.
Ibu.
Yeah. And the third one was that Momonosuke is just being tutored by Kanjuro and Kinemon.
I think the implication is that he's actually the son of the shogun or whatever.
Right. I feel like Greg mentioned that, or someone mentioned that on the show before. I think it's a Cromulon theory.
Indeed.
Any other?
Although, I mean, Kinemon has stated explicitly that he is his son, but, he could be, that's just the illusion,
Next one comes from Corvinus, something like that. I apologize. After the last chapter, do you think that some or most of the Marines will break off from the world government by the end of the series? He's a big fan of the podcast. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Any thoughts on that?
I don't think so. Not yet.
I think as long as the Marines and the world government have a unified purpose, which appears to be suppressing the Void Sentry and preventing the return of the ancient weapons, unless their purposes get bifurcated, I don't think they're going to split up and be fighting each other.
Well, there actually is, I guess, a split purpose there because I think there's a growing faction like Fujitora and stuff that's not their purpose. Their purpose is to, enforce the law and justice and all that. So there might be a bit of a split off from there, in which case maybe they will. That's a good point.
I don't think all the Marines, I don't think all the Navy, maybe a rogue sector of the Navy.
Right.
That seems more likely than like all the Navy going against.
Right. Not like half and half. I agree. Yeah.
It'd be like the Neo Marines from Film Z or something.
Kind of.
Well, I was looking at the Drake thing I think it was in the cover story, and he had the Marine ship, but it was just painted in inverse colors, which was kind of interesting. I don't know. It's interesting that Drake would still have a kind of Marine theme going on, considering he's with Kaido, presumably at this point.
But when he was a Marine, I assume he got his ship by just stealing his ship from when he was a Vice Admiral or Rear Admiral.
Yeah, I guess he has the same ship then, if that's the case. Next one comes from the final Reddit question comes from Red Hair D Shanks. Random thought, since we haven't seen Zoro struggle at all since the time skip or get hurt in the ways that Zoro does at least, doesn't it seem like he may be as strong as Luffy? Do you guys think that Zoro could have taken down Doflamingo? Sword versus strings seems like a pretty easy matchup. Wait,
yeah, but where's the poetry?
Also, where's like the personal hatred? I mean, Luffy has the axe to grind against Doflamingo. So, I mean, there's nobody else who could beat him. It doesn't even make sense to talk about it in the story like that.
I mean, it's asking questions just for the sake of asking questions.
I think Zoro
Zoro's not going to defeat the captain of the opposing force. It's
the hero does that.
Yeah.
I think Zoro will be tested a lot in Wano. When we go to Wano, it's a Bushido samurai culture. Lots of swords, I assume.
Steven also, I just to round things up on the Reddit thing concerning the Big Mom's the Big Mom debate, said that was something he couldn't tell himself. And I saw on AP there were a lot of people going back and forth about that, and in different translations what that could possibly mean, and it seems that it was left super ambiguous on purpose. I guess because it didn't say anything. Let's go to some emails. First email comes from Liam Tasker, who says, on the last episode you mentioned that Zoro could take, since we're talking about Zoro, could take on a bigger role in the Wano arc. Do you think that we will see something similar for each of the Straw Hats, like Elbaf with Usopp or All Blue with Sanji? I don't know if that's like an island or an arc that would be happening, but yeah. What do you guys think?
I don't think there's too much story to tell in order to do something like that.
I think it could maybe like for the islands they do go to, but there's too many islands.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll get something probably with Elbaf for I guess Usopp, but I guess Usopp kind of had his moment in this arc too. But that's the only other one I can think of off the top of my head. Maybe something to do with the Revolutionaries with Robin, but that's about it. I think going into a pattern like that is just sort of it would be too predictable.
I think with Zoro, it makes a lot of sense in Wano. We haven't. Zoro's flashback, I think, was 2 pages.
Yeah, he got short shrift.
It was so short, I thought it was a joke at first.
So it would make
I mean,
sense to have.
it's kind of comically insensitive to queen his death like that, you know?
It is. It's like she fell down the stairs. She's dead. Okay.
Oh shit!
I thought it was some dark humor for a second at first.
It would make sense for Zoro to have an arc surrounding him because he hasn't really had one. He hasn't been the center of attention. He's always kind of the guy who just comes in, does his badass thing, and steps out.
Reliable Zoro.
Well,
Yeah. I mean, especially with all that Water 7 Ennie's Lobby, post Ennie's Lobby stuff we went through on the read-through last week.
Yeah, that's exactly what Zoro does. He comes in, he says his piece, he leaves. He's like, that's all I gotta do.
Like he takes the hit for Luffy at the end of Thriller Bark too.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing he does. He doesn't lead. He just sort of he's the big reliable branch, I guess. He's the tree trunk.
Yeah, that's well said, Ed. I don't personally see that happening with everyone, but Usopp is. I think we'll definitely see a big Usopp arc, or some sort of character arc when we get to Elbaf. That and a lot more in my editorial. Admiral Sato asks, if you were a director of a TV commercial, which Straw Hat would you pick to act, and what kind of TV commercial would it be? Also enjoying the OP read-through. Thanks so much for doing it.
I don't know. I don't watch TV anymore, so I don't like commercials.
That is a weird answer.
I think Gear 3. I think.
What do you mean that's weird? That's exactly right.
No.
Commercials suck.
I think the original Gear 3rd Luffy would be perfect for commercials in Japan because when he starts, he can be bigger, but then he gets smaller. Bigger, but smaller.
I
Steve,
find that
dude.
humorous. I don't if commercials were like commercials in that episode of Rick and Morty, 60 Minutes. Man, I don't know. It's such a broad question. I don't know what to advertise.
Well, I guess who would be
what gets
sponsoring?
I think
I'm thinking back to our holiday specials, our Christmas specials. Like we made fun of the whole like Sarah McLachlan thing where we had Marco.
Oh God, that was good.
That might be one of my favorites.
Or Akainu for his Justice
Akainu
Flakes.
doing Justice Flakes.
I guess we answered your question already because we've done the commercials.
They have to be funny. If we could go back to times when there's a lot more animated commercials when you're allowed to use cartoon characters to market your product, like breakfast cereals and all that crap.
Sanji as Joe Camel.
Okay. I'm gonna go through my Twitter real quick.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say you should mention that.
Yesterday when we just started listing a bunch of different One Piece cereal. Oh man!
So this doesn't really answer your question, but it's fun.
No. Now I'm like, no.
It kind of answers the question.
Yeah. Now I'm like, I want them to advertise cereal, but what kind of cereal? Let me go through my tweets here. What do we got?
I've got a few. If you need a second to get them all.
Somebody start.
I'll do. There's 3 from John Merkel that I really liked, including Raisin Brand New.
Oh, I like that.
Special Kami. And Frosted Diaz Drakes. But yeah, please, Steve, you could get the whole.
Really? Frosted DS Drakes? He phoned in that last one.
Oh, I thought that was.
I thought that was great too. It's written out. It's funnier because it's Frosted X Drakes, so it's like Frosted.
I thought of one.
Oh, okay.
I thought of one this morning that I didn't say. Frankie Berry.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's much better.
Damn it. I'm trying to go through TweetDeck and I can't find it.
Monkey D. Luffy tweeted Fruity Trebles, which is great.
Oh yeah, I did that. I did.
Oh yeah, you did that one as well. You did Fruity and Cocoa. Jackson G said Honey Nut Smilos or Fiber One Piece, which is...
I'm gonna go on twitter.com because everything is screwy.
I'll get a few.
Oimo and Kashi Golin.
Danny Newman said Honey Noji Coats. Brian, our own Brian, said Golden Peony.
Who the hell is Peony?
That was
Peony is
Luffy's
the
attack in Skypiea.
I said Kokoro Puffs, which I'm very proud of.
Ready for this? Butt wipers. Huh?
What?
They're like wipes, not cereal. I'm talking about wipers selling butt wipes. I'm serious. I'm not even kidding.
We were talking about cereal, and now
I know
my
you're talking
mind
about
is
cereal,
butt
but we're
wipes.
talking about products that people to sell. and that's who it would be.
Damn it, Jammer, why did we bring you on?
I don't know.
Stephen Solomon had Zorros.
Oh, yeah, obvious one. Didn't think about that.
Jeez. You're so mean. All right, yeah, let me find some here. Okay, yeah, I was going ape shit with these. I
I
had,
know you had a bunch.
Apple 9 Jacks,
Recent reference.
Brookie Crisp,
Oh,
honey Ohm cereal. Yeah, I had Fruity and Cocoa Trebles. And that's it. That's all I got.
No, you also Honey Bunches of Oars was my other one.
Like that one.
There were others. I think that's a lot of the really
we
good
turned
ones.
this into come up with cereals based off of One Piece.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We took your question and made it to what we wanted to talk about.
and I tried to answer the question, and I got blank stares. Thanks.
Well, we were talking about food, and then you were talking about butt wipes, and it's just not a good transition.
Hey, that's not our fault. None of our avatars blink.
James Welsh has the next one.
Welshie! Sorry.
I appreciate it. I really enjoyed this week's chapter in a way I hadn't in quite a while. The post and in-between sections of arcs are generally quite enjoyable. My question to all of you this week is considering we see the general quote-unquote side of justice that the admirals seem to take in regards to Akainu and Fujitora. What kind of justice would you speculate Kizaru to have? We know the answer to this.
Lazy justice.
No, that's
indifferent justice.
No, that's
what
gray
is it?
area justice. You're thinking
Gray area, that's it. Yeah, I was thinking of
Aokiji.
Aokiji.
Yeah. Hey, Okiji.
Hey, but now lazy justice is throwing in with Blackbeard, so who knows?
Anyway, he also says, despite having the biggest wild card personality, I think he's the admiral we know the least about. But yeah, it's gray area justice. That's just the answer. That I think that's what Steven dubbed it. I think.
So basically, he does what he wants.
And he said also on a side note, I couldn't help but giggle when I saw Yarouge this week, noticing someone on his island, and immediately I thought of the Yarouge was a Sky Knight theory brought up last week. I could imagine one of you guys going full oh snap at that panel. And Brian did indeed go full oh snap. And then Greg did, because that was the first time you heard it. You heard it. It was just a couple minutes ago. Next question comes from Cody, who says, having just read the Jack in the Box chapter again, for those who don't know, that's the volume 45 chapter where we find out Dragon was Luffy's father and Garp was Luffy's grandfather. During the read-through, he read that chapter and said it kind of seems like its spiritual successor, this chapter. The five Elder Stars aren't the supreme power in the land. Aokiji is actually working with Blackbeard. Capone is allied with Big Mom. Kid and company are going after Shanks. Anaru, fingers crossed, is about to meet up with Yarouge. Just an absolutely insane chapter. Yet, despite all of these things, what I found most interesting were the trees on Kaido's island, which reminds him of bonsai trees, and he wonders, is this the first glimpse of Wano?
No, that's the island of big shots.
Well, that is also something that's in the background.
Stop answering me seriously, Zach.
It could be big shots.
I don't notice the resemblance between bonsai trees and those. It's kind of too vague to make out, really.
No, it's the Greg talked about how it's a specific type of tree that he draws that's that could be
it's a Japanese pine, I think.
Yeah, that's what it was. And it could be something that's Wano related, but it's not anything definitive. Anyway, let's go to the next one. This one comes from Michael. A little bit of a different question. Do you think Rob Lucci will come back as part of the Kaido crew along with CP9? Rob Lucci is targeted by the world government and, like Law, said that there are only two ways to survive in the New World: pledge under a emperor or fight them all.
Well, I mean, it fits in with the zoo. So.
Yeah, and the rest of them, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That actually, yeah, that's the first time I thought about that. And that would be pretty cool. That would mean Kaido really has a lot of muscle. But we don't know for sure if CP9 is in the New World.
I mean, but from what we know about Kaido, just the little bit that we know, it seems that Lucci would be attracted to him. They seem to have similar personalities.
They're both thirsty for blood.
Basically.
Andrew Peterson has a question. He asks, is it actually possible that Skypiea or other sky islands will be represented at the Reverie? We know that dials have become more common on the Blue Sea after the time skip. Maybe travel between the sky and the sea has increased as of late. And also, Yarouge has become more notorious with the rest of the Worst Generation, potentially raising awareness of the existence of Sky Islands. Even Bellamy, who was very against the existence, has visited one in the past. That's true. What do you guys think?
The only problem is, I think if the world government paid a visit to Skypiea, like, oh, this is pretty lovely. What the fuck is that? Is that a poneglyph? Burn this shit to the ground. So, sorry for my excessive cursing there, but I just feel like, I don't know. I think they'd flip out if they saw that there was a poneglyph there. So I don't think Skypiea is necessarily tied in with the rest of the world.
I think the other Sky Islands, maybe.
What about Sky Island royalty at the Reverie, though?
I could definitely see that. I think it would be interesting, considering the potential role that the Sky Islands have in the history of One Piece. But I don't know. Maybe it's been established that there are many different Sky Islands. There's the kind that Nami was on
with Area,
which was kind of it was like a moving sky ship. I don't even know how to describe that properly. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, he is right. The dials were introduced with Brook, right? We got to Sabaody, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Next one's from Andrew. Hi guys, love the show. It's heartening to hear people of a similar age to me, I presume, so enthusiastic about One Piece. I have a few questions that may or may not have been asked before. So first, would it be possible to slice a devil fruit into pieces and feed it to multiple people?
No. Oda answered that expressly in an SBS in the last read-through.
What did he say?
That's only one person can. The first person to take a bite. There's going to be a win. There's got to be a winner somehow.
Well, exactly. That's the point. Is that yes, it's possible to cut it up and feed it to multiple people, but only one of them will be the quote unquote first one to actually get the power.
And as Oda put it, the other person will just be eating a fruit that tastes like shit. Or
I think he said poop.
He said poop.
This poop is funnier than shit.
Poop is. It depends.
Well, Zach, tell me.
That was Zach's scanlation translation of it.
No, but Zach, do you poop?
Yes.
Zach, do you shit?
I also shit.
Not as funny.
I like the word shit. Anyway,
it's a little too crass for that joke, though.
Yeah, that's true. If Luffy went up to Brook, do you shit? Kind of would.
Or do you take a shit?
It just needs to be said in a British accent.
Skeletons don't have a buttocks. Do you take a shit?
Next part of the question. What chapter do you associate fond memories with a specific time of your life? For him, it would be the final stretch of Arlong Park, when it was printed in the U.S. Shonen Jump magazine, as it was around the time I first worked in a really great record shop after college. Or chapter 498, where the supernovas were introduced. I was on holiday in Thailand with my ex-girlfriend and read the chapter online whilst she was updating Facebook with pictures of her trip. He was much more concerned with the Straw Hats, he said.
I think I remember episode 325, the Ace versus Blackbeard fight, when that first came out. I remember watching that in the library at GW.
I remember reading volume 2 of the English version of One Piece while I was drugged up from getting my wisdom teeth taken out, and that was glorious.
Steve?
It has to be a certain chapter or episode?
No time in the manga.
I'd say like almost all of East Blue, and doing the read through again is really taking me back to when I was first getting into the series. And you thought East Blue, like that was the world of One Piece. It's amazing how much it's grown in size since then. But I think once I got past where Shonen Jump, or I don't know, it's like past where 4Kids was in the dub, and I was finally seeing the Japanese version of the anime for the first time. Everything past when Sanji was fighting Gin, and then eventually Luffy fighting Don Krieg, and then everything beyond that
It was just a magical time of just experiencing that raw for the and just taking it all in for the first time and not knowing where the story was going, or absolutely intrigued to know where the story was going. I'd say that was first 125 episodes. I'd say
That's around the end of Alabasta.
Yeah.
It's whenever Koza got shot. That was the last episode I saw for a while.
Early hundreds.
I just remember those were great times. It was either just marathoning them all on a Friday night because I wasn't cool, or when I would wake up in the morning before I go to school, try to get an episode in. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
For me, it was I was very lucky. I stopped watching. I couldn't take the anime when I caught up because it was Thriller Bark, and week by week the anime is insanely slow, which is an understatement. As Steve, when we were watching those sets, I couldn't even watch it in marathon. It like, come on, get there already.
You guys were so angry.
And so that's when I started reading. As I marathon like maybe 50. Not, it can't be 50 chapters. It's gotta be like 15, 20 chapters. I remember staying up almost all night and then waking up early in the morning to go to my job at a park and reading it at like 7, 6 in the morning and getting up to, the part with Kuma and getting up to the part when they all get split up and, like that whole section and just being amazed by it because it got so good once you get to that point. So yeah, I guess that's the strongest memory of One Piece that I have. I think that concludes our emails. So Ed, it's time for
Piece the Tweet. Yeah,
it's time for Piece the Tweet, and of course, we have a ton of them this week. Ed, do you have them in front of you?
Yep, I do.
Okay.
James Solomon asks, Doflamingo hinted that Manchuri could restore the factory. I guess factory, yeah. Do you think she will restore a part or all of Dressrosa with her powers?
No,
hope not.
I don't think her powers are that extensive. That would be a little insane.
I mean, I guess I glossed over that part where they said that she could fix the factory.
Yeah, that's what Treble said. Treble said that. It was right before like the fight, the final fight really started. He saw the factory getting destroyed by the Tentatas, and he's like, that sucks, but we could still fix it with Manchuri. So
I think it's weird.
That does make it like an outside possibility.
Yeah, I still think that would. It kind of defeats what I think Oda was going for with let's just build a new kingdom from scratch, kind of.
And also, I think it does take away from the impact that the destruction of Dressrosa will do for the rest of the world. Like, Fujitora is going to bring the government here and say, hey, look at this. It's all nice and pretty again. I guess it really didn't matter.
How did Maynard put it again?
I don't remember. What are you talking about?
This is the state of Dressrosa.
Thank you, Steve.
Yes.
What's next, Ed?
Emily asks, so I could have missed this, but do we know anything about the list that Koala and Sabo were looking for?
We talked a little bit about it in the manga recap, but it's from the Dur Kingdom. What was it? The one that Bartolomeo encountered the royalty from. You named it earlier, Steve.
A Kingdom of Big Shots.
Big Shots, right?
So yes, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
And now Lithion asks, seeing as Dragon is the most wanted man, what do you think Sabo's bounty is? He's the number 2 of the revolutionaries, very high.
Well, we don't know what Dragons is, so I don't know what Sabo's would be.
I mean, do they even put a bounty on Dragon's head?
I'm sure.
No, but to do so would be to acknowledge that he exists.
But everyone knows he exists. He's notorious.
I guess.
Everyone heard of him when the Jack in the Box was, except for Luffy, who's like, who? Right. I have a father.
Is that where babies come from?
I think Sabo's is probably many times higher than Luffy's. And it's probably up there in the world because the revolutionaries, I think, pose the most threat to the world government.
I wonder if they look down on him more or hate him more or put a higher bounty on him because he used to be a noble himself.
Well, he was a noble. He wasn't a celestial dragon or something.
No, well, yeah, he's a regional noble.
Yeah, I don't think anyone gives a shit about that.
Okay.
What's next?
The Kaizoku Rufi on Twitter asks, since we finally see Sakazuki's face this chapter, I noticed that he has a scar very similar to Aokiji's, most likely from their fight on Punk Hazard. Do you think that maybe Akainu has a missing limb like Aokiji's ice leg from Film Z?
Yeah, we talked about this briefly. That. I don't think he's missing an arm. I think like that was kind of like the deciding blow in that fight was Kuzan losing his leg. I think I don't know. I mean, it's possible, but
it was a draw, right? Or he just
Akainu won.
That's why he's fleet admiral.
Oh no, I guess he just let him. Because it wasn't.
No, they were both too injured to finish. Akainu, yeah.
But Akainu was.
It wasn't supposed to be a battle to the death. It was just going to be like who wins.
I think if it was probably up to Sakazuki in his normal state, he probably.
I'm saying if Sakazuki wasn't injured at the end of that fight, he would have killed Aokiji.
I zoomed into that one panel in the chapter to try and figure out, and you can't.
It's hard to tell, yeah. But I just got this funny visual in my head of him trying to walk with a limb that's made out of that. It wouldn't work. Nope. It would just sink into the ground constantly.
It's hilarious to think about
it's a liquid hot magma.
Exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't work as well as it would.
You look at so easy, Aokiji.
Next one comes from StandUser96 on Twitter. Kid and his alliance are crazy thinking they can go after Shanks. I have a feeling they have a great plan.
Well, Luffy and Law are pretty freaking crazy too.
Yeah, to think they could go after Kaido.
Yeah, think about this. Yeah, they're going after a person themselves. So, yeah, score one, Oda.
Eventually, the new generation's going to have to overcome the old one. It's going to happen.
Yeah,
it's the only way this works.
What's next?
Captain Bolton on Twitter asks, who else wants to see Luffy, Law, and Fujitora step foot into a naval base together one day? Be careful what you wish for, Akainu.
Are you he thinks they're all going to join forces and just kick ass?
Together, holding hands, skipping to my loot?
That seems unlikely.
I think Fujitora, he's not a fan of pirates. He's part of the Navy because he wants justice. He wants
it's like in the Davy Back fight. Yeah. Oh, right. Normally the pirates are the bad guys.
Mm-hmm. I think when he first encountered the Straw Hats after Luffy had saved him a considerable amount of money, he said, you were very nice to me back then, but it seems that fate has put us against each other. So I guess So I think he realizes that Luffy is not such a terrible guy, but he'll do his job. He's not afraid to do his job, I don't think. Yeah. But we'll find out soon because that's about to come to a head.
Next from Dark Leviathan, he thinks that Killer eating noodles is funny, but his question is that so what if Fujitora can't return to a marine base because he won't kill Luffy, so he becomes a wandering swordsman?
I don't think... Is
that a little too on the nose for the literary comparison?
Yeah, I mean, with... what's the name of the series called again? Why am I losing my mind?
I think it's just weird that after someone like Aokiji kind of already going that route, that he would do it as well. It'd seem a little redundant to have another character do the same thing.
That's true. That's kind of how I feel about it. I think it would be a little too on the nose since that's who he's based off of. I guess maybe for that reason it's more possible.
Mm.
What's
I don't know. Grand Wizard Scumbag asks, thoughts on the English dubbed voice actors for the Supernovas? Curious about any other upcoming voices? Well, I think you can hear our thoughts on the dub voices, 2 weeks ago in the news segment?
Yeah, we talked about the old ones. I mean, Steve, are there any ones coming?
Well, now I got to watch more.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have the DVD set. I really like them. It was nice getting to hear Brian's opinions, too. I told him about Rouge, and he watched the sets. I mean, he watched some of those episodes ahead of me because I left it at his place. And he was like, okay, Rouge sounds like Lando Calrissian. And I was going back and watching. I'm like, yes, he does. He sounds like Billy D. Williams, and I couldn't be happier.
Well, what have we here?
You're right. Oh, wow.
What's going on, Chewbacca? Still hanging out with this loser? showing some other friends the Supernova introduction, and everyone thinks that Apu sounds like Patton Oswalt.
Oh, I could totally see it.
I can't wait to hear more of Brad as Apu because I'm very intrigued with how he's going to sound. He's got it's a very interesting take on the character. I don't even remember what he sounds like in the Japanese version. Hawkins has one of the best lines such was the fate of your pants.
Yeah.
Kid sounds badass. I think Mercer is gonna be pretty good as Law. Bonnie's a little shaky, but I want to hear more.
Any other upcoming voices that you're excited for?
Geez, there's so many freaking characters coming up.
Boa Hancock.
So many female actors, so many voice actresses are going to get work because of Amazon Lily. Grandma Nguyen, remember her?
Yeah.
Maybe Hannibal and oh god, what's the warden's name? Magellan, right.
Also, the name of the series Fujitora is based off of Zatoichi. I don't know, I had a brain fart there. And you weren't helping me there, Ed.
We all had a brain fart. I couldn't think of it either.
Yeah, what's going on? That should have been in my head.
I've been really impressed with Duvall, too. I think David Vincent did a freaking awesome job. Very funny. But yeah, Magellan and Hannibal. I'm looking forward to just seeing the return of like Mr. 2 and Mr. 3. That'll be good. And Crocodile, too. And I want to hear Jinbei. I'm curious who's going to play Jinbei.
Oh, yeah. Really good.
Yes, they're gonna. I hope they just translate the coon for no reason, just for Jinbei.
Hey, we get that's what Travis Willingham coming back to voice Ace.
Yeah.
Ooh, do you think it's gonna happen?
Yeah, it's gonna happen. Why wouldn't it happen?
Well, it's possible since he's in L.A. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, they didn't get Troy Baker back for like Helmeppo.
Yeah, that's
Helmeppo. That's not Ace.
Yeah, it's Helmeppo. Ace is a big deal, and Travis played him in the fight with Blackbeard. I don't see why he wouldn't come back.
Oh, he did? Okay.
I think Travis still does some voice work. I think he plays Cell in the DBZ video games, unless they've gotten Damian Clark back on those.
He's also going to be at Otakon.
Mm-hmm. You should ask him.
Yeah, you guys, all of you go out and ask him. What's next?
He probably won't be able to tell you.
No, probably not.
Wait, Damian Clark's back in anime?
No, not necessarily. He came back to play Cell in Dragon Ball Z Kai. But other than that,
didn't know that.
He's done, what was it, like the Borderland games. So I think they record those at Sabbath Studio at Okrachan. So, and of course they record DBZ there. So naturally they got Damon Clark back for that. Yeah, other than that, I can't think of any other character. Like Jinbei, I'm really curious. And also I want to make sure I go back and listen to those first 2 episodes of Jinbei in Japanese so I can hear Daisuke Gori as Jinbei.
Yeah. He was so good. And it's such a sad tragedy. Mm-hmm. What's next, Ed?
Next one is from Malicious Hat on Twitter. In honor of Shark Week, name one thing you would change about Fishman Island. She'd change Hody Jones to a bull shark because he's a pain.
I changed the villain so that he's more interesting.
I don't know. I always said I understand the purpose of Hody and it makes sense. It just doesn't make for a compelling villain.
Yeah.
You know, I would, if I could change one thing, it'd be the humiliation of Sanji.
Yeah.
Oh man, you're right. Good point.
Oh, there's such a good line in the recent dub episodes. I think Chopper says, it's either Chopper or Sanji, but I think Chopper says, talking to Sanji, he's like, passing out from a nosebleed, like that's like pathetic. And it just struck a chord. I'm like,
you just wait.
You have no idea.
Yeah.
It'll be fountains gushing out.
I almost wanted to make a vine of that scene and then cuts to Fishman Island with a freaking mermaid geyser. The humiliation of Sanji. I honestly felt like there wasn't enough. I feel like we didn't see enough of Fishman Island.
It was very self-contained story.
Yeah.
Well, this would be my kind of somewhat cop-out answer. Is I would kind of cut out a lot of the fat. Because I think there was just a lot of shit and characters and things that didn't need to be there.
Entirely.
Oh my God, you're right. Yeah.
No way.
Vanderdecken, Hammond.
Vanderdecken gets go away heat.
I think the main like 5 or 6 villains are fine. They have some cool designs and cool little abilities, and it's a good moment for everyone to show off their new stuff. I think it was just too long, and there's too much fat.
I also feel like it kind of just seemed like, oh yeah, we're going to Fishman Island. So it just seemed like we're going through the motions of obligatory callbacks and this and that. It just felt like it was.
Oh, well, I think one of the dumbest things was Momu. Like, why? Like, I thought that was leading to something, but what was the point of having Momu?
I have a close number 2, Steve. Den.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Den. Who? Yeah.
See, Ed doesn't even remember who that
Tom's
is.
brother.
Oh my God, you're right.
He's basically the. Oh my God, I forgot this guy's name. I know karate. I know Jinbei. Who's that guy?
Hack.
Hack. Except Hack did something, so never mind.
Yeah, we know. I feel like Hack has been more fleshed out than Den. I mean, well, what was there really to know other than Den was Tom's brother?
I mean, Tom left Fishman Island a long time ago.
There's a lot to discuss with Fishman Island,
and maybe
I kind of wish the new Fishman Pirates were a little bit more of a threat. They were fodder for the Straw Hats, and we're back, a dinosaur story.
No, but like if they're the main villains and that's all they're there for, and we get rid of the extraneous stuff, we can make them being fodder makes more sense because it's a shorter arc. They get the bad guys get taken out quicker, and we still get to do all this other cool stuff.
By the way, if you want to hear more discussion about Fishman Island, we will be talking about it in the One Piece read-through on August 13th.
That will be an interesting episode.
I'm actually
not revisited that material at all since it ended.
Me neither. I'm actually really looking forward to doing it in like a kind of somewhat masochistic way. So join us on August 13th for that. Ed, what's next?
Next one is from Rap878 on Twitter. And he is wondering, where's Kaido at?
We kind of talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about this a lot. A lot of us think he's on Wano. If he's not on Wano, then we really don't know.
I think he's on his own island personally, but he could be on Wano. It's a perfect.
I like that idea of the building looking like a giant Japanese castle. I do like that idea.
I kind of hope that is Kaido, though. That's such a cool idea that whole thing is his silhouette.
He's a giant bull.
On the other hand, in Punk Hazard, there was a guy with like horns that showed up as one of the black market guys, and it would make sense Kaido would be one of the people viewing it. So who knows? It could be related. Just throwing it out there. Go on.
Okay. Matt Jackson on Twitter asks, "Am I the only one that thinks one of the Gorosei looks like the Pringles guy? I believe he's referring to Mustache Gorbachev."
Mustache Gorbachev.
Speaking of Pringles, I bought some Pringles the other day.
Pringles aren't made from real potatoes; they're made from dried potato flakes. They're gross.
Yeah, I'm not a big Pringle fan. I don't like
man!
But yes, he does kind of look like the Pringles guy.
I bought potato flakes.
Anyway, what's the next question, Ed?
Well, our very own Sai-chan asks, Crocodile has been referenced a lot during this arc, both in story, indirectly, and in the SBS. Do you think he will show up soon?
He is in the New World. We know that.
Define soon, I guess, is the question. Like, I don't think he's going to show up in the next arc.
I think we got a long time before we see Croc again, personally.
Yeah.
So, I mean, anytime after the next arc is a long time from now. So.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
I don't think he's going to Wano, which is what I think the next arc is.
Correct. Yeah. Besides, yeah.
And completely off topic, she also asks us who our favorite Powerpuff Girl is.
That's random.
It's obviously Buttercup.
Yeah, she doesn't take any shit.
Yep, yeah, definitely Buttercup.
I was like, it was a tough call between Buttercup, but since all you guys said Buttercup, I'll say Bubbles. Easily the funniest.
That's true. She was pretty funny.
Was it when they were telling the story to the mayor of what happened with Mojo Jojo? It's like then Mojo like had a big boo boo, so I gave him a kiss, and then I kicked him. Hilarious. Yeah, Bubbles was great.
Oh, that was such a good show.
Very good show.
What's next? One Piece.
Danny Newman asks, do you think Smoker and the Children could be the next cover arc showing them getting treated by Vegapunk? Or
No.
Mr. Bigger Pants?
I think that's too big a thing to be covered in the probably.
Yeah, especially if Vegapunk is going to look just like Rick Sanchez.
I hope.
I want Vegapunk to be Rick so bad.
Now I know Greg said he got him into Game of Thrones. Now he just has to get him into Rick and Morty.
Yep.
That would be so much easier than getting him into Game of Thrones, though.
I know. That's why he should be able to do it. Round us off. I think this is one of our.
No, there's two more.
Oh,
actually.
two more. Okay.
Yeah, one came in as we recorded.
Okay, cool.
Milos the Creator asks, would you consider doing a top 5 of the inner volume covers, i.e. the page with the
No.
picture of Luffy and volume title?
The picture of Luffy and the volume title.
Yeah, it's like on the inside.
Oh.
They appear a lot in the color walks too.
Yeah, that's a very specific thing.
I don't know. I do feel like I always kind of gloss over that art, and that might be an excuse to
Yeah.
look at it more in depth. So, I mean, the possibility exists.
I'm not.
Aren't those usually just images from
They're
Jump
from Shonen
covers?
Jump. Yeah, they're Jump
Yeah,
covers.
yeah.
Oh,
I don't have any particular interest in doing that.
well,
Just
maybe
'cause
I'll look
it's
at
a little
them.
too much.
I'll look at them and I'll see if there's anything interesting in there.
Maybe Jump covers would be better.
Why it's like yeah, but I don't know how to find all of the One Piece ones. I think there is a place to find those. I just don't know where it is.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It wouldn't be
that
worth
sucks.
doing if we couldn't do it in full color.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, Sam Flores asks, Wano has many similarities to Old Japan. Does that mean a shogun rules it? Could it be one of the Yonko?
Could it be Kaido?
Kaido?
Yeah! Man, that's not really a pun.
I was gonna
just
say.
I kind of wanted to do that, that CSI Miami thing, though.
It's a
Yeah,
nice
yeah,
one.
we got that.
Yeah.
But
Wano, more like Kaido.
if I mean, honestly, if we're thinking that Kaido is on Wano, then it would make sense that he would be the shogun. It's a
Yeah.
possibility. It's a possibility. And the more I think about that, it makes me think that he might not be on Wano.
I think Kaido is definitely connected to Wano in a very intrinsic way, but I don't know how. I don't know if he's really that influential. I mean, we just had the bad guy as the king.
Well,
Do
how
we need
how
another one?
How about Kaido is actually Momonosuke's father? If we go from the previous piece of the tweet or piece together.
I doubt that even more because Kaido would be very pissed at what has happened if that's the case. There were a couple other questions that were in a hashtag. I want to give them a chance. Joe said, "Any thoughts on who gave Fujitora his scars and blinded him?"
It
think
seems like he
we're gonna
had them.
find out?
It seems like he's had them ever since he joined the Marines. We know that. So
Do we?
yeah. It seems like he's been blind for a long time.
Yeah, what if they
said that he just joined the Marines?
It seems like he's a blind guy who's gotten used to his disability. It's not like, oh, hey, this guy's a really good devil fruit ability. We should,
Blind him.
recruit him. Okay, awesome. Next week, you won't believe it. The new recruit guy. Oh God, he slipped in some butterscotch and his face fell in acid, and now he's blind.
Well, he is Admiral Magoo. Steve.
It could have been
Nah.
the previous generation of pirates back
Yeah.
in like 20 years ago or whatever. Probably likely what it is, if that. Or maybe, do we know if he was blind from a young age or anything?
No, we
know nothing about him.
Yeah.
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 Maybe it has something to do with Wano. He's very Japanesey.
HH Big Boss said, with the shadow of Kaido literally looming, what are your hopes for his Zone Devil Fruit? He's hoping for the Kaiju fruit.
Well, first, I'd like to correct him. The silhouette is looming.
Good point.
Silhouette
If it's
could be
him.
a lot of
if it's
people.
him.
I mean, no, people think it could be a castle too. So
It could
Oh,
be a lot
really?
of things. Well, yeah, that's what we were
Oh,
saying.
yeah. Greg mentioned that during the. He had a theory about it during the manga recap.
I don't know. I am hoping it's something unique and different and potentially mythical. I think since we've seen mythical Zoan fruits existing with Marco. I don't
Now
know.
I can only picture the Eye of Sauron on that thing.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. No one has any. The Kaiju one, I think, is actually great. Okay, no one.
I don't.
The Godzilla fruit.
That would be pretty good.
Chad says, and I'm gonna leave this. This is the last one. What Hollywood actors or actresses would you like to see voice One Piece characters?
Oh no.
I'm just thinking of other. I've always thought of other voice actors because I couldn't care about actors. I've always said that for Spondum, I always wanted Dan Castellaneta.
Yeah, that I like that a lot too.
Was it Mr. Five? I think I wanted Phil Lamar. I always wanted Rob Paulson as Wapple. I'm trying to think of there's so many characters. It'd be funny if whoever voiced Ariel played Shirahoshi. That'd be funny.
I think Harry Shearer would make a good Eneru because he has that deep voice.
As Eneru, really?
Yeah.
Well, can you afford $300,000 an episode of One Piece that he's in?
Well, Dan Castellaneta.
That's
Chris
true.
Pratt as Scratchman Apu.
All right.
I've been watching through more Parks and Rec, and I love Brad, but I could get behind that. Oh man, I'm just trying to think of like future characters that haven't been casted yet.
Like Bartolomeo.
Man, who the hell would be a good Bartolomeo?
I mean, Cavendish is any pretty boy in Hollywood, I think.
Well, pretty boys need to also have a pretty
Chris
boy
Pine.
voice. Yeah, Chris Pine could. Well, yeah.
Also, you have to consider who'd be good at actual voice acting.
Well, yeah. Let's talk. Billy West was railed against the idea of Hollywood actors voice
all those
acting.
years ago when we met him.
Yeah, and I do agree with that. I think.
No,
voice
I
actors-
definitely stand by that. But he asked for Hollywood actors, so
That's true. Okay, well, I think that probably rounds us off unless we could think of any here.
That's like trying to pick your favorite nerd in the bowl of nerds.
Are you talking about the candy or actual nerds?
No, just you go to the store, you get like a box of nerds. They're alive. They all want to go home, and then you put them in a bowl, and then you're like, which one am I eating? Which one's my favorite?
So that's it for Twitter, and usually this would be the end of the Piece Together segment, but we actually have voicemails this week, and not just one, we have two. Why don't we listen to those now?
Okay.
Hey guys, Dan here, friend of Steve's, or I guess more of an acquaintance actually. You guys seem like you were desperate for calls, so I thought I'd give you one. And apologies if this has been asked before, but I thought it was relevant. Let's entertain the fact that like Fujitora wants to do away with the warlord system. Like, what if that does happen? What will become with the rest of the warlords? Like, will the Kuja pirates all be hunted down by the Marines? Will Buggy go back on the run? Just stuff along those lines. And I guess there's that other warlord that we know nothing about, so who knows what'll happen to him. I guess Dracul Mihawk could go floating around on his coffin again. And that is it.
Hello, One Piece Podcast. I have a piece together question for you. Oda likes to create a lot of unique and interesting animals for One Piece. So what is your favorite One Piece animal species? I like the transponder snails because they're really interesting, and there are a lot of different kinds of transponder snails, and you can get individualized ones. But what is your favorite One Piece animal? It has to be a new and original One Piece animal that Oda created, not like a camel or like eyelashes or anything. It has to be original. So what is your favorite? Let me know, and hear you later. Bye.
See, the first voicemail came from Dan. You worked with Dan, right, Steve?
I did. He's a good guy.
Are you friends with him or just acquaintances, like he said?
He said we're acquaintances?
Yes.
That hurts. No, that's fine.
The question was, what if Fujitora was successful in getting rid of the warlord system? What would happen to all the warlords? What would happen?
Chaos. Dogs and cats.
Living together.
Living together. We're talking real Ghostbusters references here.
Is there any actual thoughts?
Well, I mean, it's obviously to destabilize the world. So when the world becomes unstable, that's when someone can seize power or become the Pirate King. So
I'm just curious if they do abolish the whole warlord system, what's going to happen to Amazon Lily?
Right, yeah. Or Buggy. I think Buggy would be screwed. Like, oh no, they're coming after me again. No, it's okay, Captain Buggy. You're the toughest pirate of them all. You got this.
Buggy is stronger than people give him credit for.
But Hancock, she took that title to protect her island. Like, what's going to happen? That's that. Every time I hear about the whole abolishing of the warlords, I always think of Hancock first.
Any other thoughts on that? No. The second question, the person did not leave their name, but thank you for calling either way.
You know who you are.
Was what your favorite animal species? This has to be an original Oda species, like the banana gator is a good example, not something like Eyelashes, who is already a camel, which exists in this world.
I wish Alex was here to say heffalumps.
Kung Fu Dugongs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
It's your favorite. It's your favorite One Piece animal.
Yes, One Piece animal.
Okay, I thought we had to come up with one.
No, I'm not going to ask you guys to do that. But
those are my favorite too. What do you guys like?
I really like the Southbird. I
love the Southbird.
I forgot. I was talking with a friend. It might have been Brian, and just laughing because I didn't realize that back when Zoro gets lost on Skypiea, he runs into a Southbird, right? And what direction do they have to walk in? South. Yeah. So he's walking with a Southbird whose head is 180, just facing the opposite direction. He's like, "What do you want? Get away from me!"
Man, that's a nice touch.
He doesn't pick up on that. I forgot.
And the Southbird laughs at him because he's stupid.
Yeah. Let's see other awesome Oda exclusive animals.
I'm going to be contrarian and say the North Bird, the East Bird, and the West Bird.
Oh,
I prefer the Grand Bird or the Red Bird.
I really like all the animals on Gaimon's island.
Oh,
I do not.
Weird.
I do not. I can do without Gaimon altogether. It always bothered me. I got really claustrophobic thinking about Gaimon. He's basically an animal. I guess we can go with him. But I hated
not an animal.
You don't make me get all Elephant Man up in here.
No, I got really claustrophobic reading that arc because I try to imagine myself getting stuck like that and never being able to get out. Nah.
What about Sherry? Everyone loves Sherry.
No, she's just a horse.
Or dachshund.
Or a snow leopard. Oh, wait, it's just the face.
I'm trying to think of any other awesome animals. Trying to think of some seafaring animals. Was it panda shark?
Sea cat.
Remember Bunchy or Banshee?
I love
Banshee. Sunday's giant tortoise.
I love Banshee.
Oh man, I've been reading through Drum, Hiking Bear, Lava.
Yeah,
those are good.
I think Oda used to be much better with the when's the last time we've seen like crazy Fishman Island? I guess is the last time.
Yeah, there were crazy animals going down in the ocean, like in the depths of the ocean.
Right. Yeah. Punk Hazard and Dressrosa have not really had any animals.
Strong World had some great designs. I'm so happy I have that art book.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go look at that.
Oh man, there's so many good ones there.
Ed, wait until we're done recording.
Well, aren't we done right now, actually?
Actually, that's a great transition. We are done. Why don't we round off the podcast?
Sweet.
Go check that book, Ed.
This has been the One Piece Podcast, episode 376 for the week of July 13th, 2015. Thank you all for coming on the show again.
Thank you, William Shatner.
Okay. This has been a pretty long and intense episode, I think. We had a manga recap, for those who forgot, a couple hours ago, for chapter 793. We had an anime recap for the also intense episode 701 of the anime. And we had a extended version of the Piece Together segment, complete with voicemails. Thank you guys. Please keep sending those in. And thank you for everyone in the One Piece Reddit who followed through and gave us some questions. Before we end the show, we are going to be at Otakon, and as was announced here earlier, we are going to have it's kind of a panel, but it's mostly a viewing of the One Piece podcast Goes to Japan. Very excited about that. That's going to be the downside of that is it's Sunday morning at 9 a.m. But it goes until 11:30 a.m. So if you have seen it already and you want to just come for the Q&A, come in later on.
And also, I mean, not to malign the movie, but the best parts are after like the halfway point.
Well, look, you're maligning the hell out of me, but no.
I mean, we really get into the meat of it at the end, like in the last half.
Yeah. It's so make sure to come. Check your schedule for the room. I'm looking for whether I have that. I don't know if I have that yet. The link to the programming event announcement for the One Piece podcast Goes to Japan is also on the website. Big thanks to Otakon, specifically to Scott Melzer for helping us out with everything. He's been great. And it's hard to fit a 2.5 hour panel / viewing at a convention, which is part of the reason it's at that hour. But yeah, wake up a little early on Sunday. No one gets sleep at conventions anyway. You'll be fine. We're going to have a lot of really cool prizes there. I'm going to make sure so, if you're coming that early, at least, hopefully you'll get a little something.
Maybe I'll finally give away that volume of Wanted I bought for last year's Otakon and forgot to bring.
Well, now that you said it, you have to.
You could just give it to me.
You're not going to be there.
Don't remind me.
So yeah, Jose will be there, I'll be there, Ed will be there, and the dude will be there. And as far as I know, that it's going to be everyone who will be taking some Q&A. Any kind of Q&A. Does not have to be about the movie. And hopefully we'll talk about some other little stuff, some other little things, and I think we'll probably also show the teasers that are on our YouTube channel for OPP Dallas. I don't think Jose has been exceptionally busy with IGPX, so I don't think he has anything that will be ready in time for Otakon, but who knows? It's possible, I guess. I think that is everything, though. Big thanks again to squarespace.com for sponsoring this week's episode. You could go and to squarespace.com, get 10% off with the code OnePiece. Again, that is one word. And thanks to them, really, for sponsoring us this week. Steve, where could the good people find you?
Well, you could find me on Twitter at Steve Yurko and on my website, steveyurko.com. And please follow me on Tumblr, steveyurko.tumblr.com. Should also say I'm probably going to be reopening my online store. I got some leftover prints from AX, and I don't have another con for a couple months, so I will be selling stuff online again. So that link is on my website. It's StoreNV, or it's steveyurko.storenv.com. Please be sure to check that out if you want a print from me.
Jammer, where can the good people find you?
Well, they can find me on Twitter at JamTheWriter. You can see all types. I do a lot of movie news, mostly comic book related stuff, on websites such as staticmultimedia.com or Latino Review, which is latino-review.com. Also, check for my book Dangerous Faces on Amazon. Just type in Dangerous Faces. And, of course, you can see all of that at josephmedinawriter.com. You'll be able to find all the corresponding links.
Ed, where could the good people out there find us?
Well, Zach, you are Zach_Logan on Twitter. I'm Edward E. Festizio on Twitter. The podcast can be found at OnePiecePodcast.com, YouTube.com, Twitter.com, and Facebook.com/OnePiecePodcast. One Piece Podcast is our Skype name. OnePiecePodcast@gmail.com is our email address. OnePiecePodcast.tumblr.com for news updates and funny pictures. Subscribe on Stitcher, subscribe on SoundCloud, or subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. You can also call us on our phone number. Zach?
That phone number is 347-497-MAJI. That phone number again is 347-497-6254. Call anytime.
Anytime.
With your questions, comments, theories, or your conspiracy theories for how the One Piece world will end, or work, or if some moon landed and destroyed the world. I don't know. Ed, Thank you again for all your crackpot theories. Not
Oh,
just
you're
here,
welcome.
but also on the One Piece read through, which you should listen to every Thursday. This Thursday, we are going through the Thriller Bark arc. It's only 4 volumes. This is an easy one to catch up with and read along with us.
It's actually more like 4.8 volumes.
No, it's like 4. No, it's only volume 46, 47, 48, 40. Yeah, you're right. 49 and 50.
Yes, I'm right.
As always. Yeah, so it's like 4. It's like 4.5, 4.8, something like that. But
We could just say 5 and be easy.
no. Look,
No, because those last 2 chapters are total red line.
yeah. So please enjoy that. I think I read all but like half of volume 50 in a day, so it's doable. And it's,
I heard it on the red line. Yeah.
so yeah, again, check those out every Thursday. This week we will have Joey Weiser, the Eisner Award nominated artist and creator of Merman. And we also will have Tiffany from Crunchyroll. Both of them should be on this Thursday's episode. Again, you can check out all the details for the read-through at onepiecepodcast.com/op read-through. That's just 1P, not 2Ps. And please hashtag and follow along with us. It's been a ton of fun, and I hope you guys are listening to that. Huge thanks also to Greg and Brian for coming on today's show. You can check Greg out on Twitter at Ochimusha108, and you can check out Brian at Dark King Zoro on Twitter, and also Rick and Morty premieres with season 2 on July 26th. Also want to thank everyone out there on our Patreon page. Again, you could listen to that segment where we talk about all the everyone who helped out this month, and you could help out and get exclusively early episodes of shows like 20 Minutes of Bullshit and Jammer, your Animanga podcast.
Hells yeah.
At patreon.com/One Piece Podcast. I think it's everything above $10 a month. And you
Yeah,
get
everything
those
about
early?
$10 a month. Yeah, we have a special subscriber page on the site that you will get access to exclusively for exclusively early episodes of exclusive-ish shows.
Exclusive.
Ish. So yeah,
Donkey.
please enjoy that. And I think that's going to do it for today. My name is Zach.
My name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
We'll see you next week, everyone. Goodbye.
You're off the case, McGonagall.
You're off your case, Chief.
What does that mean exactly?
It means he gets results, you stupid chief!